is spinning and I'm dizzy staring at the stars. I left the pages in my schedule, but they're falling hard. Find me on your way out, I'll be right here. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. The sky is sunny, but the clouds are running in my head. I'm thinking maybe I would rather play the part instead. Don't know what to say now, I'll get my eyesight checked. But I can listen while I'm wishing, staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove.
I'm closing chapters, looking backwards, and I'm making sense. I'm interested in all that flourishes from ignorance. Nothing in my way now, except for my own years. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars. And accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars. And accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars. And accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars.
They don't seem so
It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars. And accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars.
They don't seem so far.
When I saw you downtown, I started acting like a clown, just to see if you would notice me and maybe get you to laugh. I did get some attention from the girl right next to you. Then all my friends saw me fleeing for my life. Steam blood, steam blood. I gotta run, run, run. I gotta run, run, run. I gotta steam blood.
let it all go. Close your tired eyes, sleep for a little while. Just put your guitar down and it's okay. Play it safe. your high hopes, love so delicate. Life is sometimes strange. Sometimes it takes a big rain to feel the sun again. Sometimes it takes a big rain. Sometimes it takes a big rain. Fill your ears with a conscious silence. Fill your heart with a sound. Fill your ears with a conscious silence. Fill your heart with a sound. With a sound. Your pain, let it all go. Your chance, your heavy load. You made it through another day. You're surely on your way. Just put your guitar down, down, and it's okay.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to the Blast Rising. We've got some good news for you, and it is semifinal day as we're gonna go up against Young Ninjas versus Copenhagen Flames. That should be one hell of a banker. And of course, bringing you the action is gonna be me, Sir Danny, joined by the wonderful Overseer. He's gone for the full tracksuit, boys. Though I think you should have saved that up if we would have had, for example, the Spirit Academy matchup. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is where you pull out the tracksuit.
Honestly, you'll see tomorrow what kind of tracksuit I'm pulling out, so don't worry about that, don't worry. Of course, as you mentioned, we do have a great game on our hands to open up the day with. Unfortunately, it is just the one series today. We were supposed to have another semifinals, so both on Saturday, on this day, on the 22nd of May. But unfortunately, due to scheduling issues and such, and the teams have decided that they will postpone the match till tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be another action-packed one. But for today, it's going to be a bit of a creme de la creme fight. It's going to be the derby, the Danes versus the Swedes, sort of to say, with Copenhagen Flames, of course, being currently quite the hot thing on the market, whilst Young Ninjas, as you already said, a new team that's coming out of the blue, out of nowhere, that's striking across the, across the CS field and basically making some headway for themselves and some names for themselves.
Yeah, let's begin talking about Young Ninjas because this seems to be a very exciting project, and the past few weeks have been really good for them. There's no denying it. Of their most recent performance, they are actually on an 8 best-of-3 win streak. Now, that is just unbelievable. First and foremost, this being online CS, where you're going to be facing loads of various opposition, some higher level opponents, some lower level opponents, and to have such a good run of form for a relatively fresh roster, that's insane. Then let's talk about the fact that the way they're doing it as well, 2-0s. All the best of threes they played are 2-0. And it's not like the matchups were relatively hard for them. Some of them did go down to a 69 scoreline, a 16-10. Sure, there are a few overtimes here and there, but it's also against the level of opposition they've been doing this against. Entropic, Skade. That Skade victory as well, very important. It happened here at the Blast Rising, and the fact that they managed to secure that victory 2-0 against a squad like Skade, that is an amazing performance from the Young Ninjas.
It really is. I mean, Young Ninjas have definitely shown some promise, and more than anything, they've shown that even as young as they are, and perhaps inexperienced on the field of professional CS, on the field of tournaments and such, they're doing a splendid job of giving us a showcase of what they're capable of. Nilo, for example, at 16 years old, he is rocking hard with his shots, with his plays, and I gotta give it to the man. I think Nilo, amongst others, is one of the more promising members of the squad itself. And then Fuzi, obviously not even mentioning him, he is definitely one of the more impactful uppers as of late. Statistically, perhaps not as supported about that, about his upping skills. You would usually expect that an upper to have a higher rating than 1.07. But then again, he's doing a splendid job, and they've only been playing for what, about a 5 months period now, something like this. I don't want to say too little, because I know it's been something like this, 5 months somewhere there, with LNZ being the freshest basically addition to the team itself.
Yeah, they actually haven't been playing for too long. Like I said, yeah, LNZ is the freshest member joining the roster. So, of course, we do have the veto at store for you folks as well. The maps heading into this best of 3. And, of course, we have to point out as well that this is practically a fresh roster on the side of Copenhagen Flames. They really haven't had a lot of time to practice. They're still trying to build up their map pool. And one of the maps they decided to go for is Vertigo. So, given your thoughts, what do we have to say for a map like Vertigo?
Honestly, for Vertigo, for Copenhagen Flames, it's not the first time we're seeing them play it, though I am surprised that they choose this map to be their first and to be basically their staple to show their quality in a semifinals on. We saw them against LDLC at the Blast Rising, of course, and I believe you and I had the pleasure. No, actually, no, we did not cast that. That was yesterday. So, of course, we had the pleasure of at least having a chance to see him on Vertigo, and they did pretty well. 16-11 was the result they were playing on. Overall, they seem to be very competent, and beyond just being competent, they seem to have a lot of confidence on Vertigo. And I think this is the classic case of, you know, a squad has decided to play this as one of their primary maps. Since Ancient has joined the pool instead of Train, many teams now have to go under the decision of, okay, are we going to play an Ancient or are we going to play Vertigo? You know, which map are we going to choose now as our next go-to map? Because as we already described last week, there has to be a limit. There is a limit to how many maps you can ban and how many maps, and there is obviously a must as to how many maps you have to play. And I like the fact that they've chosen Vertigo as one of their go-to maps, because it is an uncommon map. Even these days, you rarely see it to be picked as the first map or being picked as one of the main maps for any team, really. There's very few teams these days that actually play it like consistently. So I gotta say, I like it. I hope that they will show the same skill they did against LDLC yesterday. But of course, it's all up in the air, because right now still it's Young Ninjas. And like I said, the same way for Copenhagen Flames, they might have played it a few times. Young Ninjas play it likewise.
And also in the case of Young Ninjas, they're going to go for the pick of Inferno. That seemed to be a staple map here for the Young Ninjas roster. They end up picking this map. I believe it is one of their most commonly picked as map as well. So it does make sense. They're just going to try to play into their strength heading into this best of 3. And of course, our third and final map is going to be Overpass. It does make sense here, because if you're a team like Young Ninjas and you get to choose between Nuke and Overpass, as we've seen thus far, Nuke is also the map that Copenhagen Flames tend to play. This new iteration, they played it against Strict, they secured the victory. They played it against LDLC, that's where they also secured the victory. So in the case of Young Ninjas, they're probably thinking, it's not the best map for us, so we're probably not going to go for it. Instead, let's try to go for the pick of Overpass, a map I don't think we had a chance of seeing Copenhagen Flames play on. So perhaps, if you're Young Ninjas, you're going to believe we can maybe punish these guys on Overpass.
I mean, technically, Young Ninjas have been playing so much and so many times on Overpass in the past that, yeah, why not, right? It's not a bad idea. But of course, with that being said, they first have to pass over through Vertigo and potentially lose one of the, well, have to lose one of the maps if they want to go onto, of course, in this case, onto Overpass. But in any case, we can see the lineups. I accidentally close my vmix. There we go, I'm back. But as I was saying, they have to first pass on over through a little bit of a heap. That is Vertigo, of course, a little bit of a bump in the road. I'm eager to see what Copenhagen Flames prepare for us. As I said, they played against LDLC. As of these days, recently, LDLC is not in the strongest of positions, we can say. You know, it's certainly not in the best of positions, but they still have some big hitters, some big players. And Copenhagen Flames, the fact that they've been together for less than let's say a week, you know, with the whole squad being switched out, with Zyphun, Roy and Hooksy coming on over. As Roy said, they had a few weeks, a few days to track before these matches began. They've done pretty well, but let's hope to see the continuation of that. Young Ninjas, of course, on the other hand, I mean, they're so young that perhaps just pure skill and aim might take them over the edge.
Yeah, and speaking of that pure skill and pure aim, on the side of Young Ninjas, they've been looking so solid here throughout the entirety of the Blast Rising. Now, if you're going to notice through some of the statistical data provided by HLTV, that there does not seem to be that one hard carry on the side of Young Ninjas. But in this tournament, almost every single player has had their moments. In particular, LNZ has been playing some really solid Counter-Strike, also doing a tremendous job in the clutch department. Out of the 6 clutches he was in, he managed to win 5 of them. Of course, 4 of them being the 1v1 scenarios and the 5th one being a 1v2. So absolutely, skill is on the side of Young Ninjas, but we'll have to wait and see as the players getting incredibly close here towards the A bomb site. Sapek will abandon his post. Only getting a little bit steamy from the Molotov. Now 1 minute and 10 seconds. There we go. Grenades now being deployed here from Copenhagen Flames. And there's the push. Hooksy, great first nade on Sapek. Now we see the advancement here from the Flames. They're being very thorough in their approach. Siphon going for a bit of a spray with the Glock. Not going to really find any of the players, but for the Flames, this is perfect. Bomb gets planted.
Yeah, this is where Nikodos will shine, of course, behind this position. Without a Molotov or a nade to flush him out, it's now impossible to clear him. While aggression comes out from, of course, Copenhagen Flames through short, they'll be able to find success, and indeed they do. With Hooksy at the end, cleaning the rest with a double. And that will be Copenhagen Flames with the pistol. Great start here for the Danish squad as they open up this first map with great success. Of course, their choice of this map, and Young Ninjas, their retake did look a little bit weaker than usual, but then again, it is only the first round, it is only the pistol, and I'm eager to see what they can bring onto the table. They've got 4 smokes right now and 5 deagles to play with, and those 5 deagles just might be instrumental right now. And look at the damage already, Hooksy at 43, and of course setup and positioning right now for Young Ninjas is not bad at all, given that they're actually contesting for a ramp.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if you're Copenhagen Flames, might as well go for some early ramp control. Vertigo, A bomb site, notorious setup. Hooksy, of course, gonna throw in the grenade for a good measure, but ends up losing a significant amount of HP, if I'm being honest. Right now, he becomes very susceptible to the deagles. I do believe, yeah, there we go. Look what's happening towards the B bomb side. Nyla has gone for a bit of an aggressive play. This is such a good off-angle position. You're going to see the terrorists take this position from time to time, but the CTs can also hold this angle, and for Nilo, he should be good for at least the 1 kill. As the player's getting dangerously close. Nilo with the 1. As I was saying earlier, Madden responds with his, but that opens up the B bomb site.
Ooh, this definitely opens up the site itself. A 3-on-3 could ensue. Still poorly for Copenhagen Flames, but they've already got positions to work with, and the flank's being watched by Hooksy, so he's ready for Sapik. And of course, he's going to take him down easily. Zyphoon needs to be careful, of course, doesn't want to get a bullet to the head. He's the one man with 100 HP, so he's the one man that can survive a few shots if in case things don't go exactly as planned. And the bomb goes down without being at least contested for. That's a nice thing to see from time to time. Whilst Fuzi and LNZ, I believe, they will be pulling back. There is no point in delaying here in this position, although they still try and not actually going back. Interesting choice. You know, you would have hoped to see them keep the Kevlar and the deagles, but respectfully, they'll at least try to do some damage, so I get that. Meanwhile, Copenhagen Flames, 2 losses, well, 2 players lost, but still getting the bomb plant, still keeping over the AKs. Feels like they're in a great position to start this first map, of course, and Young Ninjas will have to be very careful when it comes down to the first gun round, and I'm eager to see if they can get the op up for Fuzi. He's already got 3k, so counting correctly here, he should have enough for Mini Kevlar and AWP.
The Flames, of course, throwing down the smoke grenade, the Molotov as well. The early smoke, of course, to make sure Young Ninjas don't have vision on ramp. Could potentially go for a bit of a stack, or even an aggressive play in ramp could cause a lot of havoc. Maybe a bit of a ruckus. So instead, from the side of Young Ninjas, we do have a stack going on here in the middle. Would love to see the perspective of the players holding that position. As right now, yeah, we might even see some aggressive plays here from the Flames in the mid area. Or actually, no, I can finally see that Yabi has considered to retreat from the stairs position, and he's going to join his teammates here. So not sure if Young Ninjas can find any impact here, but though this is a nice little boost. Very reminiscent of what we can see on Inferno's B side.
Yeah, that is true. It's a nice little trick you can use against your opponent, and if it works, or if your opponent is deciding to play these mid plays, these mid pushes, it can work quite nicely. It can actually give you a little bit of an advanced spot and, you know, let's say a bit more success to work with. Either way, right now, of course, Young Ninjas doing a splendid job at just keeping themselves alive and keeping, you know, Copenhagen Flames on their toes, of course. I would expect Roy to go for the hunt. He does have the Mach 10, so in this case, going for a frag or 2 wouldn't be shabby. Meanwhile, Young Ninjas pushing through the smoke. They're trying to deal damage, and not sure they're going to be very successful. Of course not. Zyphoon with a 4k, and there it is, 3-0. Great start for the Flames themselves. The Danes are going to be happy about this one. Though you did mention that Young Ninjas are currently on a 9-game win streak. and which is pretty bloody amazing. 9 games officially on official tournaments they've won in a row right now. Starting with, of course, the first win against Caronte in the Rep League, Republic, and then in Elisa they also won all 3 matches in the regionals, and now at Blast Rising here as well they won all of their 4 matchups 2-0. Roy, though, opens it up. The first gun round, not looking too good anymore. The op is up for Fuzi. Mini Kevlar, as I said, but he's still at 0 frags. Sapek at least brings it back for 1.
Kill here from Sapek. Nilo as well stepping up, looking very solid. We saw some aggressive plays here on the side of Copenhagen Flames, and look, the aggression still coming through here. Sapek, great pickup on Roy. Mata in response as well. The players of Copenhagen Flames not finding anything in this round. Young Ninjas, they buckle up, get themselves the weapons. They're going to go out, straight challenge the players of the Flames, and not much of a response. Some Xiphon remains. Oh, look at this angle as well. Such a superb angle held for the CT, though this angle is being checked more often nowadays. Sometimes I've been even seeing that the duels from the player below have been more successfully won than by the guy above, but luckily in the case of Nilo, Xiphon doesn't consider to look up the blue skies here of Vertigo, and that will be the start here for Young Ninjas. The very first round going their way.
That is what we would expect out of a team like such, a team that has defeated Navi Junior twice. I mean, you know, defeating Skate, defeating Gorillas, even Kova or Caronte, nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, great achievements, but in general, you would expect them to be able to do that. But defeating Navi Junior with Monessi on their roster, and you know, being 2-0 both times and being quite dominant both times, that is something else entirely. Young Ninjas, of course, having that strength in their game is quite unique. But the start, unfortunately, this time around on the round number 5 is a little bit worse for wear. Again, they lose Fuzi this time, and that's the op-out of commission. Unfortunately for Young Ninjas, they are not able to retrieve it. And I have my doubts about how far they can push this. Winning one round and then losing the right one after is not exactly the trades you want to be doing. But Nilo, good start. The young man himself will prevent from B-side being lost. Hooksy, of course, on the lookout to find perhaps a free frag.
A little smoke thrown out here from Young Ninjas, slowing down the offense or potential offense from the Flames. Of course, holding on to the ramp position is of top priority here for Ninjas. And we might even see some aggression as well. Look at the positioning here. Nikodaz should be able to spot out the player even better. Gets the frag here on one. Nikodaz with the second. I'm not really sure how come the Young Ninjas players decide to make the rotation, or perhaps to go in for the aim duel against from the Flames. And this is not looking good for the Ninjas. They're getting destroyed here on the bomb site. And not much of a response. Nikodaz, perfect shooting with the AWP.
Well, right now it's looking damn good. Nilo, unfortunately, alone, and he cannot really do this himself. The bomb already planted halfway through. That is going to be the round. Copenhagen Flames, they're starting to show a little bit of eagerness to take those fights without, you know, fear of dying. And of course, with that being said, Nikodaz with a hat trick kind of secures this round rather easily. By the way, the fact, you know, as I mentioned, winning against Navi Junior, of course, amazing. Winning against Skade, even better. Of course, we can't deny that. Yesterday was definitely one hell of a day for them. Though, I would say that Skade, perhaps, you know, when you look at yesterday's match, they definitely weren't on point. They definitely weren't feeling themselves. You know, Denislav definitely didn't perform the way you would hope him to perform. And obviously, even Ships at that point, having only 38 frags in 2 maps. But you might have 38 bitcoins if you're using Coinbase, people. Go check it out. Of course, all your cryptocurrency nerds that are currently on the lookout for the Bitcoin drop that's plummeting currently, you might want to use Coinbase because it could help you with what you are doing. Of course, thank you, Coinbase, for supporting the tournament. Meanwhile, Manen, well, supporting Young Ninjas with the headshot on Yabi. Great stuff. Good start, though not really continuing too well as Xiphon returns the favor.
This is the one thing you have to be so careful against any team in Counter-Strike. I'd say probably even more so against Young Ninjas. They really have some good aimers on their side. Right now, some of them, I believe 3 or the 4 players on the side of Young Ninjas are currently the best performing players throughout the entirety of the Blast Rising, in the top 10 for sure. That's something you have to be careful of if you're a team like Hopping in Flames. Right now as well, they have some great individuals on their side. Nikodas, Zyphon, Yabi. Zyphon though, already being softened up here. Flash deployed, could see the push here from the ninjas, but Hooksy very aware of it. Nilo recovers the AK, but not the kill though. Snopek, prime position with the CZ 75, should get the kill here on Lonesome Hooksy, but more players entering the fray. Snopek gets his, but the Flames have the sight, and they will also have the victory. Copenhagen Flames looking very solid right now. This T side has been looking superb for them. You can't even really say that these rounds have gone to the wire or have been somewhat close. These have been convincing victories on the side of the Danes.
Yeah, the one round YN picked up was of course with the 3 surviving members, and that kind of looked amazing, but unfortunately the rest have been, as you said, very much convincing and very much on point from the Flames themselves. I mean, it shows that they are well prepared for this. As I said, this is something that they've prepared for. I believe Roy even answered that question last week when we had, or last, when was it? On Wednesday, was it, or Thursday even? No, actually, it was on Wednesday. Yeah, I just double checked. It was on Wednesday.
A few days ago.
Yeah, on the 19th, basically. Roy said that, you know, they had a few days, a few chances to prac, and that their map pool, even though it's not well chiseled out, that they will be playing majority of the maps. As we can see, they're doing exactly here. They're trying out different maps. They played out, they tried out, and they're not doing shabbily at all. And I gotta be honest here. I'm very much impressed with their current quality. We can see their consistent pressure towards a ramp. They're able to push Young Ninjas back every single time. They're pushing towards short. Young Ninjas are they're forced to take a fight and then either, you know, take that 50-50 by maybe losing a player, maybe getting a refrag, but always being kind of on the losing side. Whilst the Copenhagen Flames, whilst they do get control, they kind of stop in the track, wait a little bit, and abuse then the eagerness and more than anything the panic of Young Ninjas. But here comes the take. 30 seconds, Danny. This is another A take again, and 3 players are ready to defend. Fuzi still at 0 frags right now. He misses another shot. This is not exactly perfect.
Oh, 20 seconds as well. Nico Dawes with a great response. But now it's time to hit the site. Young Ninja's doing a great job at slowing things down. Fuzi gets his. LNZ with 1. Fuzi with a response. There we go. Things are looking up for the Young Ninjas. No time remaining for Nico Dawes, and they fend off the site. Finally, something good here on the side of Young Ninjas. Their individuals also stepping up. As you mentioned right there, Fuzi holding the bomb site, has 0 frags, and then when it matters most, manages to find himself the 2. Really good stuff here inside of Young Ninjas. I'd say this as well. Nilo has been the one player on that B bomb site, and he's been playing it alongside his buddy Fuzi. And from what I can tell, Nilo has found, when you look in terms of frags, he has actually found more success towards the B bomb site than, say, some of his other teammates who are holding on the A side. And Flames don't even really go towards the B bomb site that often as well.
Yeah,
oh, Supek though. Oh, he's
could
going to go
work
for
out.
a dangerous game, and
This
well,
could
it's
work
going to
out.
be rewarded with a kill until Hooksy. That's a sick one. Hooksy has been so good right now in this ramp position. Feels like he's constantly in a position, in a spot where he can find himself the 1 or maybe 2 kills. And Flames, a 4v4, they're going to take that one.
I mean, absolutely, this favors them highly more, or well, quite more than it does favor Young Ninjas. And as we can see, the rotation from Young Ninjas, it's a flank on B. They're reading this well. They're now knowing, okay, this is an A take still. And as you said, B has really not been touched at all, but for the most part, Copenhagen Flames, they went there once in the last 8 rounds. And the worst part of it all is that, for the most part, they keep a player close by B ramp to, you know, early on to catch any rotations from the CT. The flank from Manen, though, finds purchase. Nilo helping him out, and let's see if they can do anything here with this. Young Ninjas, the spray is there, but Manen and Nilo both are traded out. As a 2-on-2 ensues, Roy helps out the position of course, Copenhagen Flames, as Nikodos is waiting patiently in sandbags. Roy finds LNZ. And this will be the round gone. Fuzi has no entry. He has no way back into this.
No, he has no time remaining as well. Doesn't find the frag. Yep, he's just gonna have to run away from this as Company in Flames again taking over the A bomb site. Those A side takes have been looking so good for the Danes. And right now, this has been one of the weaker areas of the map here for Young Ninjas. You don't even really see the Flames contesting something like the B bomb site too often. I think they might have gone a round or two, and that's about it. Ever since then, it's been the A side show. And why should they change anything? I mean, it's very common for a team to be hitting the A bomb side, but in the context of this matchup, Young Ninjas just haven't done a good job holding on to the bomb site.
I feel like they need to contest on ramp better. Basically, whenever it's an A hit, they need to contest them on towards ramp before they get close to the site and then lock them onto site itself. Because for the most part, Young Ninjas lose short aim almost immediately or never really had it in the first place. But we did see Fuzi with the IAWP towards B early on there, and Nilo now, of course, going to be staying in this position with the Deagle, while Fuzi relocates towards A. And this is the glorious plan of Copenhagen Flames and their idea about, okay, we went A pretty much every single round up until now. Let's switch it out. Let's go back towards B now. Let's just explode on B. Because Young Ninjas ain't going to expect this. Look at it. 3 players on ramp. They're all aggressive on ramp. They're looking towards ramp. They want to find something. Roy is the one man that will be looking to sell this one. But on the other hand, Copenhagen Flames, here comes the execution. The rotation is going to be very slow. Young Ninjas, they need Nilo to survive or at least to hold on to this position as long as he can. But the bomb is still going to be planted.
Yeah, bomb plant coming in here. Siphon has the angle as well, so no advancement here from the Ninjas. Though they could potentially have those players on pistols. Look for the exit frags or maybe even attempt this retake in all fairness. Probably not going to secure the win on the back of it, though. You can already see another smoke thrown out. Young Ninjas can get into the bomb site. It is very important for Fuzi to save that AWP. I think he's going to be able to do so. Not the biggest problem for him. Also considering the fact that he also has a bodyguard in the form of Manan. So for here, the Flames just going to go for a bit of a spray, getting himself some damage in. And most importantly, the round win.
Well, that is going to be darn good right now. Young Ninjas, unfortunately, being on the losing side here. And for them, it's a very big dissatisfaction and more disappointment that they're not really able to do anything at all. They're being literally taken down on every single round, and maybe it's because of the skins. It could be because of the Deagle Blazes that they don't have. You know, maybe if they had CS Money's Deagle Blaze, things could be looking up. So go check out CS Money, people. Might be worth your investment if you want some new skins. In any case, Copenhagen Flames this time around facing off the music against Fuzi's AWP again towards A. They're looking to take control towards ramp, perhaps. On the other hand, Copenhagen Flames, they're playing a default, as we can see. 2 players towards B ramp, 2 players towards A ramp, and the one and only man, Zyphon, holding middle.
Yeah, Lonesome Zyphon holding that mid position. Fuzi as the opera on A side has been struggling a little bit. He managed to find those 2 frags in one of the rounds Young Ninjas picked up here. I think that might have been that second round or maybe even the first round victory. Ever since then, though, the Flames have been looking so much stronger. Ooh, LNZ, though, is playing a dangerous game right now. Luckily, he has the backup here of Sapek, also the backup of Fuzi. Nilo, though, great early pickup here at Nikodas to slow down the advancement here from the Flames. As we can see, they are spread out quite thin. They have a few players towards the B-bomb site. They have Roy just walking up the A site. Definitely not a good start for the Flames.
And this is for the first time we actually see Young Ninjas having a fighting chance. Fuzi still burns in the Molotov. He is at the end falling prey to mistakes perhaps at times, trying to be as aggressive as he was. And Copenhagen Flames, this is why, as I said, this is the first time we see them in this horrible of a spot. But look at this. Oh no, Yabi's just made it onto B site. Nilo, why are you looking towards middle? Why is your back turned towards B ramp? As if it is not possible that they could approach this position. And Yabi, I think he might die here because he's exposing himself to the side. And yeah, he's just been spotted. He still takes the fight. Yabi, what? No way! Danny is pulling off Yabi! Hey, 4K! makes it easy for Copenhagen Flames, and sure enough, Young Ninjas might have gotten two to begin with, but it all starts with Fuzi dying, and then the rest is just Yabi and everything.
Oh, this was an
God.
amazing performance from Yabi. You cannot deny it. Gets into the bomb site just in the right time, and this peak as well. So strong from Yabi. Now, that will be the victory for the Flames, and that is a massive loss for Young Ninjas. That was by far one of the best opportunities to close out a round, a 5 versus 3, in which, sure, we end up seeing Fuzi dying. Also see the rotation there from Young Ninjas towards that A-bomb site, and Nilo, you're right about it. He wasn't looking towards the right position just as Yabi pounces. That will be the victory here for the Flames, and this round seems to be going a similar vein. Not a single kill on the side of Flames. Young Ninjas, 3 players alive, and you can see that if you're a player like Fuzi saving the M4E1S is what you're going to do. Whereas Manin and Sapek maybe, perhaps, could find a few frags if possible, but does not seem to be going their way. What a strong performance from the Flames as well. Really good stuff. Really strong performance.
Unrealistically good performance. This is an unexpected show of quality. And, you know, this is something that, if you recall, we said in the pregame in a way, is Copenhagen Flames, as fresh as the team they are, and, you know, with what Roy told us last week, or a few days ago, it feels like last week, but it was only a few days ago, it kind of reigns true. They are a fresh team. They're a team that is still kind of going around the ropes. They're still basically getting to know each other closer, you know, trying to find what fits for what player, you know, what they like or what player fits in what direction and what position. And in this case, you can tell that they're a little bit more free flowing. They're not perhaps as focused on a single point. They're kind of letting be a little bit more free floating. You know, they feel like, okay, let's go for the A pick, let's go for the A pick, let's go for the B take, let's go for the B take kind of thing. They're not really following a set structure. They're just following what they feel is right. And right now, I feel like the IGL from Roy is the IGLing from Roy is damn amazing. And he is definitely pulling off some great moves here to begin with. Copenhagen Flames, I mean, this is another gun round that Young Ninjas... Let's see, of course, what they prepare for us. They have a bit of a split defense. Manen holding here on construction middle. He's about to be boost spotted, and, well, thankfully the op doesn't hit, though. Does it really help? Zyphoon is still there to refrag or to frag up. And Hooksy, oh my god, they keep on adding. What is going on right now? Young Ninjas, they're starting to fall apart on all accounts.
This is so surprising. Young Ninjas, it feels like in some of these rounds they're getting caught out, not aware of the advancement in this round in particular, in middle. Oh, just 3 players alive right now. Fuzi going to keep a close eye on the A-bomb site, but you're going to notice soon on the minimap the A-bomb site is not the final destination for the Flames. Nilo has been superb here at the B-bomb site. He's going to have a tall task ahead of him. 25 seconds. Players are getting dangerously close towards the bomb site, and now Nilo, aware of what's happening on the other side. Molotov deployed, push coming through. They don't check Nilo's positioning, allowing him to find the 2. That will slow down the advancement for now. 10 seconds remain. Hooksy finally in position. 8 seconds though. Fuzi has to check so many angles, and that's not going to be necessary. The bomb plant is not needed. It's the kills that get the job done, as Copenhagen Flames once again just steamroll the bomb site, even though this time I like the hold from Nilo, but it's still not enough.
Nope. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up to anything more than just a few frags. And I mean, 2 frags is not going to be enough when the rest of your team cannot get a single kill. And Fuzi, as we can see here, as the last player, he can't really do it. And 10-2, this is going to be a little bit too easy to begin with. Copenhagen Flames are really making it look too simple, too easy even. Nilo here on our screens, of course, the youngest player on Young Ninjas, and I can imagine that this is quite stressful. Of course, being still, you know, an unknown entity on the scene, and having just basically about a little less than a half a year ago come onto the scene and start hitting heads and really showing promise. losing like this to begin with has to be a bit harsh, because their last match that they played on Vertigo, I believe it was... I'll have to double check, because I actually don't recall who it was against. But Nikodos, well, to focus on the round again, Deagle's in play. This time Nikodos opens it up. And Copenhagen Flames a little bit too easy for them, it looks like, once more. As Young Ninjas are just running up and down to try and get some control going. I would imagine them, again, fighting for a ramp. As I said at the start, they should be fighting for a ramp. And yeah, they played against Navi Junior. Yeah, that was escaping my mind. Last time they played on Vertigo. They did win 16-11, but they dominated pretty much a good portion of the first half. It was an 8-7 half for them, and then they just closed it out with 8 rounds almost consecutive, with only 4 going to Navi Junior in the second one on their CT. So... I mean, technically, the CT side of Young Ninjas should be a little bit more well-versed and a bit more successful, even.
For sure, this is where you expect the individuals to perform on the side of Young Ninjas. But as we've seen thus far, that's just not happening. One of the shining examples has been Nilo, though. So good here in the B-bomb side. Even right now, he's with the Lonesome Deagle, will be taken care of. Not a huge troublesome player for Copenhagen Flames to dispatch of, though. Fuzi gets himself the one here in Zyphon. Could cause a bit more ruckus, maybe a kill or two, but you're not expecting the victory to come out here on the side of Young Ninjas. 11-2. Very much a daunting scoreline if you're Young Ninjas. This is where you gonna go for the reinvestment. That's great to see, but you have to start winning these rounds. The next 2 rounds. At the very least, of course, the scoreline is still going to be 11-4, very much in favor of the Flames, but you need to start building some momentum right now at the very end of this first half. Perhaps it's going to spill over to the second half.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, at 11-2, you would imagine this being almost half as done, because they just need 5 more rounds, and that's pretty much map 1 done. But let's not hold our breath for it, because Young Ninjas, they do have a few aces up their sleeves, and I can imagine LNZ and Fuzi popping off quickly if they get their mojo back. It feels like they weren't warmed up at the start of the game. I'm not gonna lie, it did feel like they're a little bit rusty. And Fuzi re-picks the angle. Jesus, Nikodos keeps on going as he takes down 2 with him. 2 players on side B, or excuse me, on side A right now. Sapek already tagged up, gonna be taken out. Jesus, man, they really do feel like they are a little bit, well, not warmed up effectively, Young Ninjas here.
Yeah, the Ninjas just not having it easy. And we talked about in the pregame how these are some really solid individuals. Hooksy, though, oh, great pickup here in Modern. In-game leader has been doing an amazing job in the fragging department, which is something you don't really talk about in-game leaders too often. Of course, in nowadays meta, you do need an in-game leader that can frag, but in his case, he has other individuals that can do the fragging for him. It's Yabi, it's Zyphon, it's Roy, it's Nikodos. Hooksy, definitely not the one players you think of when it comes down to the fragging prowess on the side of the Flames. Young Ninjas, yeah, not having it easy at all here in Vertigo. This is also the map pick here from the Flames. Perhaps Vertigo is going to be a very strong map for them in the nearby future. But let's talk about the present, because it's still looking strong. The Flames right now, losing some players on the push. There's the response from Hooksy once again. But there he goes. Sapek does eliminate Roy. So this is a 2 versus 3 right now. One of the more doable situations for Young Ninjas to win.
Right now, this is one of the first rounds we actually see them have a legit chance of pulling it off. I mean, besides the round number 4, the actual first gun round they were able to win, and then one in between, which at this point, I don't even recall, was it round 7 or 8? It was one of the 2, I believe. Or it was round number 7. Yeah, I was right. So it was round number 7 where they won their second round by time running out for Copenhagen Flames, of course. And this could be, again, an issue here for the Flames, because they are taking a long time, but it's a 3v2, 40 seconds. It's a B take as well. They've already got control. Of course, Hooksy on site with the AK. In comes Nikodos with the bomb. And Young Ninjas, I don't think I need to reiterate how important this round is for them. Because 13-2 or 12-3, the difference is there. Might not be big, but in the essence of the game, in essence of this position currently, it is quite humongous. And oh boy. Oh wow, Hooksy. That's beautiful. That is just beautiful to watch. And that's the round. That's the half, Danny. That is 13-2. Copenhagen Flames. They truly have opened up the flames, haven't they? Flames to the maximum.
This has been looking so strong here for Copenhagen Flames. This first half, undeniably so. And Fuzi as well, struggling quite a bit here in the Flames. Nice flashbang and Molotov combo. And of course, Hooksy to finish it off. But a very nice 2K. As we can see, the first map, if I'm being honest, it does look like it's coming to an end. And this is so surprising as well, because we were talking about this in the pregame. Young Ninjas, 8-match win streak. Not just, for example, just a few best of threes and maybe a best of one here or there. No. These have been best of threes throughout. And 7 of them, 2-0 victories against the opponents they had to face, against opponents like Navi Jr. and Tropic Skate. It is going to be quite satisfying if Young Ninjas end up dropping the one map here. That does put the streak in, not as a good light, so to speak. But at the same time, then they're going to have to focus on winning the best of 3. And the fact is, our second map of Inferno, even though a strong map for Young Ninjas, it's not like Copenhagen Flames are strangers on Inferno.
That's the thing. They aren't. It's not the first time they would play it. And it's definitely not the last, of course. But, I'm keeping my hopes up still for Vertigo. Perhaps Young Ninjas just needed a bit of a push in the right direction, or, needed a bit of a push into the downstairs area from the 51st floor down to the 45th floor of Vertigo, of course, here. Though, let's see for certain what isn't going to be entailing here for us in our second half. As the pistol is starting off, ladies and gents, this is one of the last chances for Young Ninjas to kind of pull anything together, really. They've got a smoke and a flash on Sapek, the rest with Glocks and, of course, Kevlars, and I'm hoping to see some successful takes, because this is all or nothing. Young Ninjas, they have to win this. Zyphoon alone on A site, and the rotation has already been called. Copenhagen Flames know that they're in trouble, but they will not be expecting 2 players coming in from middle. This could be the surprising factor that YN might be able to pull off.
Oh, Hooksy losing quite a bit of his HP, but look at Young Ninjas go. They're gonna enter the bomb site, though. Roy with the response, trying so Nikodos so quick with the P2000. Young Ninjas finally take over the bomb site. That is bomb planted. And Copenhagen Flames, though, Nikodos quite low in HP, but they still have the kit and the smoke grenade. It is quite satisfying that Nikodos, he's going to have to be the player to stick the defuse. And him being so low in HP, a few bullets, and he's a goner. So this is looking very good here for Young Ninjas to try and close this one out. Fuzi trying to win the duel, but it's Yabi to come out on top. No defuse
Lord.
just yet. Nikodos getting one. Zyphon, though. Oh, man, and he has to hit the one, but can't pull it off.
He can get both at the end, but the round is still gone. And it's a little bit anticlimactic, not gonna lie. Mannen, of course, the man, as Mannen means in Swedish man, as far as I understand it. Well, what can I say besides this is a bit of a disappointment. Young Ninjas, hopefully, they're not gonna be, they're not gonna be too worried about that. Of course, I don't think they'll be worried if they would have the new phones, the Series 6 Red Magic phones, because apparently that's amazing. Maybe that would help them in this game, but then again, it's more for mobile games than anything. Let's see where, of course, this leads us moving forward. Copenhagen Flames right now in a splendidly good position. I mean, this is the best we've seen them ever. Technically, it hasn't been forever since, they've only been together for about a week now, but this is really good. Like, this is legit surprisingly good that I didn't expect it. Danny, I'm genuinely surprised by the quality that we're seeing from Copenhagen Flames here today. Although, finally, a little bit more life shown from Young Ninjas as they take down the 4 players on A site and force last man Yabi to rotate over.
Yeah, Lonesome Yabi now remaining as his buddies end up dying defending the A-bomb site, and for Lonesome Yabi to find these 2 kills first and foremost, I'd say that's a difficult task. Plus, you have Nilo in the backline, so for Lonesome Yabi to win this one, it does feel impossible, though he's gonna try to go for this. Spots the guy in the ramp position, but Nilo getting ever so close, dangerously close. You can even see Yabi, somewhat aware of the push, looks to his right-hand side, and no, it's not gonna happen. But for Young Ninjas, it will. Finally, they get themselves the 3rd round in here in Vertigo. Definitely not an easy endeavor, but perhaps they can string a few more rounds together. One thing we hope to see here from Young Ninjas, the Copenhagen Flames, though, of course, Force Bite is economy is just all over the place here on the side of the Flames, so they're going to go for the Force Bite. They're going to get the pistols out, the smoke grenades, which is always a nice little boost. And worst case scenario, if they end up losing this round, the next one is going to be a standard run-of-the-mill eco.
Of course. Let's see where this one leads us to. Oh boy. Well, that's a good start. Good boost that Copenhagen Flames at least tried with, but Young Ninjas predicted pretty well. LNZ finds himself the 6th frag. Fuzi still on 5. So far, both of these 2 players being very quiet even in this second half. Of course, it's only been 18 rounds altogether, including this one, so technically it's not as bad as it might seem, but the result is what's really the problem here, as the Eagles are still in play here. Copenhagen Flames should not be underestimated, especially not when they have Nikodos with the Deagle up, and, you know, Zyphun and Yabi. We've seen some crazy shots against Tricked on Wednesday. They played Inferno and Dust and Train, and they took the victory on Inferno and Train. Unfortunately, they lost Dust, but it was a close call, 16-14. But alas, I think this round should be ending pretty soon, and the 4th round for Young Ninja is going to be picked up. It took them a while. They're still going to be 10 rounds behind, of course, Copenhagen Flames, but perhaps a chance now being taken finally, and I hope to see some life, and more than anything, life continue for the side of course, Young Ninjas.
Yeah, you don't want to see them in the shadows. You want to see them in the spotlight. Young Ninjas right now, it is going to be a long journey for them, that's for sure. But they had to start from somewhere, and, you know, in the second half, picking up the previous round, this round as well, that's at least something. That's going to give them some sort of a momentum boost, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Young Ninjas right now just looking forward to the second map, because they believe that, okay, this is Vertigo, it's the opponent's pick. We couldn't really prepare against this roster. We couldn't really watch any of their demos because there just aren't any of this 5-man Copenhagen Flames roster. I guess they're just going to be looking for that second map of Inferno, but doesn't mean they have to give up right here. There's still a few more rounds remaining, and this one should be an easy pickup here for Young Ninjas. Notice that the Flames economy, there's just not a lot of money remaining, so like I mentioned earlier, it should be your standard eco if you are Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, this is a massive improvement over what, you know, we expected generally. So yeah, definitely Young Ninjas, they need to keep up the pressure here, and above all else, they cannot let go of the gas pedal. I feel like they need to continuously put Copenhagen Flames in a rough spot, or at least into an unsure spot where they don't find any comfort or any sort of positional advantage. Now, as you said, of course, Yabi survives with the FAMAS, but that's about it. The rest having to play with pistols again, which should pretty much entail an easy win for YN once again. Though, on the other hand... Oh, Roy. That is very sneaky. How did he go unnoticed? But at the end, LNZ is right next to him. Hooksy finds Nilo. But luckily, again, Shapek refrags, so the damage is not as severe as it might seem. Though Yabi with the AK right now peeks out in. Oh boy, in goes Hooksy as well. Finds one, finds two. Hooksy, what? This is an eco, Danny. This is a full eco. Only Yabi surviving with Kevlar. The rest with full eco USPs and P2000s and maybe a P250, really, if that's anything that's worth mentioning. Oh, no. Young Ninjas. This is a little bit worse than what I expected, actually. I really had thought that this would be another easy win round for them. Because it should have been.
It should have been. But right now, Sapek, though, okay, tries to make it close.
idea.
Love the play from Nikodas as well, just trying to go for that engagement. I mean, triple peak, surely he can't survive that one. As in this round, I mean, yeah, this has been somewhat of a dissatisfying turnaround for the Ninjas. Hooksy getting those two massive, or in total, 3 kills with the FAMAS. It is going to be a victory here for Copenhagen Flames, 15-4. Oh boy, oh boy. You can definitely see that this first map seems to be coming to an abrupt end. And for Young Ninjas, what a dissatisfying round to lose again. I'm going to use that word once more because I don't think there's a better way to describe it. Hooksy, though, going for the aggressive plays, gets the first. There's the response from Roy. And this round seems to be falling apart here for Young Ninjas.
Well, this is seemingly the end of the line, I guess. Yabi, of course, with the good flash spot, forces Nyla to drop down. Roy finds Fuzi, and it seems like truly we will be ending where we started off at, with Copenhagen Flames securing themselves the victory. Alas, 2 rounds later than what we expected. I am genuinely disturbed by this result. I had hoped that Young Ninjas would show us a bit of a better, better showing here, a bit of a better game. They did not play against each other yet, as you said. There's not many VODs, many replays you can go over for Copenhagen Flames, but at the end of the day, the round is still gone, and so is the game for this first map. 16-4, very convincing result from Copenhagen Flames, and Young Ninjas, hopefully they'll have a few replies in their second one, of course, on Inferno and DJL. Of course, Daniel Narancic, the ex-player that he was once present on the scene, as now his members are, as he is now coaching, of course, Copenhagen Flames. A lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and above all else, a very positive player. And Yabi, look at this final moment for Yabi, clearing out the game, clearing out the map. And, I mean, next up is Inferno, Danny. What the hell is going to happen there? Like, what can we even expect?
I'm not sure, if I'm being honest, because on the side of Young Ninjas, we just didn't even really see the individuals fire up. And that's the one thing you expect out of this roster, especially with 3 of the members being one of the highest rated players throughout the entirety of the Blast Rising. So this is a really dissatisfying result. I mean, it is absolutely unexpected. You did not expect to see this best of 3, and
Nope.
Young Ninjas get absolutely destroyed on the very first map. Sure, Vertigo, like I said, they probably couldn't really prepare against a team like Copenhagen Flames, but they still had the setups. They still had the players in the server, and just nothing really went their way.
We could blame. We could say that because of Fuzi's obvious mistake of not being able to. It's a mistake. That's not even a mistake. It's just no performance. Fuzi was very quiet throughout the entirety of the first half. I think he had 4 kills, if I remember correctly, for the first half. And then obviously we had, I believe it was Nilo or LNZ that likewise had very low amount of frags, and it just. Excuse me, Manin. That was Manin. My bad. It didn't work out. It didn't work out at all here for Young Ninjas. And next up, Inferno. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more from them, Danny, because it's all or nothing. This is the semifinals now, of course. We are in the playoffs of Blast Rising 2021. And the winner, of course, going into the finals themselves tomorrow will be played out. And, of course, tomorrow they'll even know who their opponent will be, either Double Pony or Spirit Academy. But until we go into Inferno as our second map right here, we'll go into a short break, folks. See you right soon.
website checked. But I can listen while I'm wishing, staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
Getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we've got to hit our groove.
I'm closing chapters, looking backwards, and I'm making sense. I'm interested in all that flourishes from ignorance. Nothing in my way now, except for my own years. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy, staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we about to hit our groove. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we about to hit our groove. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They
Don't seem so
it's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running at a goal, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars.
They don't seem so
When I saw you downtown, I started acting like a clown, just to see if you would notice me and maybe get you to laugh. I did get some attention from the girl right next to you. Then all my friends saw me fleeing for my life. Steam love. Steam love. I gotta run, run, run. I gotta run, run, run. I gotta steam love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our second map of the best of three. Chances are you may have missed the first map. Well, you haven't really missed much, and we can finally perhaps watch some proper Counter-Strike on the second one. The very first map was a very one-sided affair coming in from Copenhagen Flames. They managed to successfully secure the victory there on a very convincing scoreline. I think it might have been 16-4 on the
Yep.
side of Flames. And for Young Ninjas, that was a really satisfying performance, something we did not expect to witness heading into this best of three.
It was a huge disappointment, as you said. Yeah, like we can legitimately say this was a disappointment from Young Ninjas. Now, yes, of course, it's not their main map, Vertigo. It's not something they would actively go to play and choose it since Dust. But but since Dust is their perma ban, you would still imagine them being at least a bit more competitive. This was not even close to it. This was not close to what we're used to seeing from Young Ninjas in the last 9 matches in a row that they had won. So in the last 9 best of 3s they had won, that they had played. This would be their 10th if they would be able to conclude it. Unfortunately, right now, it doesn't look like that's the case. Moving on to Inferno, as you said, next as our second map, their own pick. I would imagine this being a very different storyline now. I would imagine them being a dominant show and force here. But alas, I think we might again be surprised because it didn't look like they were warmed up at all for the first map.
No, that was definitely one of the problems for Young Ninjas, is that it felt like their individuals just weren't really hitting their shots. For example, here on Vertigo's A bomb site, it is absolutely important for those players to be hitting their shots. And you may have the 2 free players holding that position, whatever. Chances are those players will consistently have to change up their setups. They can't just play safe on the bomb side. You're going to have to go for the initial engagements. You're going to have to go for those ramp plays. You're going to perhaps put a player up in construction, or somewhere in the mid round, you might even go for some aggressive maneuvers. Fact is, those players really have to hit their shots. And even though Nilo looked solid on the B bomb side, the problem is you can just always avoid the B bomb side. If you're a squad like Copenhagen Flames, you know, okay, Nilo seems to be having a good day. Let's just go towards that other area of the map that all teams end up going on the map of Vertigo. So let's go for those engagements there, try to win the duels, and would you look at that? That first half, very dominant showing here from Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, it was just a one-sided affair. That's it. I don't think we even need to go into further details because it was clear that Young Ninjas just were not ready, were not prepared, and didn't know really how to even answer against Copenhagen Flames. One of the solutions, as I said, could be, you know, that consistent A pressure, A ramp control, or at least fight for it. But we never saw that. So let's rather see what they can do here on Inferno, because it is again the T side they'll be starting off on, so at the very least they'll have a chance. You know, I always say if you start on the T side, you might botch it a little bit, but as long as you get, let's say, 5-6 rounds on Inferno, you can always come back with the CT side. You can always turn that tide for you instead of against you. Though I have my doubts. We both know how good the Flames are. We both know how good they've been in the past on Inferno as well. We've seen them, as I said, against Strict. They did a splendid job on it. I feel like, you know, against Strict, obviously it was a little bit easier of a match than it will be here against Young Ninjas, almost certainly so. But then again, Young Ninjas, you know, just like Tricked, a fresh team, a team that are or have been together for a better part of a year, a little bit less than that as a whole squad. And I feel like there's a bit of a connection between the two teams, though, in the sense of young players, young talents, a lot of energy, a lot of hype, a lot of skill involved, but raw potential that has to be yet molded into something more. And in this case, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my dear Danny, we're jumping into our first round. It is the pistol round. Oh, did you see? Somebody flew. Somebody was flying. Somebody's only arms were visible. I love that. CSGO is today so bugged, it's weird.
Oh boy, looks like the Flames looking to squash some bugs in middle, but oh, the response, Nikodas, Zyphon, Nikodas once more, and Young Ninjas. Oh man, Young Ninjas not having it easy. They're getting absolutely wrecked. Nilo, though, does survive the bloody encounter there in middle. As you can see, Nilo right now could perhaps win the engagement against Nikodas. That is not meant to be. Copenhagen Flames early on, go out there, swing out in middle, win the initial engagements against the Young Ninjas, and you can see that the Young Ninjas, they were definitely not ready to face such a level of aggression so early.
I mean, that is going to be a little bit of a shake me up here. Copenhagen Flames certainly starting to again, wake the beast, one can say. This is, again, another pistol to them. The Flames, of course, now with 3 pistols under the roof for them. And I hope that we're going to see some life from Young Ninjas in this second round. That is a force buy round, of course. A scout on Fuzi. We've got Tech9s coming out for the rest, and a Deagle on both Mannen and Nilo. And great start, Shapek. There is the Tech9 shot that I was hoping to see. The smoke immediately comes out from Zyphoon, though, so he's kind of prepared for the up-and-coming tease, though it seems like that Young Ninjas might actually go back towards A, or is it? No, they will go B still. I like the commitment here, and I definitely like the fact that they are not afraid of going towards B, even after, they shouldn't be, because, they got an entry, so why would they be?
Though, from the side of Copenhagen Flames, you can see we already have Nikodas in position, Roy as well. Young Ninjas, if they want to hit the B bomb, so they're going to have to face a few more players than anticipated. Zyphon, of course, in the back lines, waiting for the players to get close, but look at Young Ninjas! Looks like they were slowed down on the push. Nilo gets one, but it's Zyphon managing to find 4 kills. I am not really sure how come Young Ninjas decided going for the push there on the B bomb side, but it felt like they just stopped at one point and didn't really commit towards the bomb side. It felt like a few players wanted to push through CT spawn, but the other guys, oh boy, they did not stand a chance.
Yeah, Nilo actually went through the smoke, and LNZ and I believe Mannen were trying to do the same, but unfortunately they decided halfway through that that might not be a good idea, so they went back towards side, but by that time Zyphoon already had them lined up, and of course shut them down. And as we can see, this is going to be a bit of a B attempt towards, well, actually not even a B attempt, just a bit of a banana attempt. Mannen finds himself in an entry, though. That's a great start. Mannen unfortunately does fall at the end to, of course, Yabi with the FAMAS as he helps his teammate, in this case Hooksy on top middle. Roy finds himself a piece of the pie, and it seems like Copenhagen Flames will not let off the guess battle at all. And this is one of the worrisome starts that I had in my mind when we went into the second map. It's the fact that they are now losing the first 3 rounds yet again of their own map pick, and after being defeated as the way they were on Vertigo, this really does put a kind of a dent into their mental fortitude, because we gotta remember, at the end of the day, these are still young players. They're very impressionable, they're still very malleable, and they're still very emotional perhaps about their game. The younger you are, the less you have control over your emotions, over your actual mental state in some sense, and the more you lose, the more you start losing, and the more you're kind of pushed into the sidewalk or into the sidelines, the more you can make mistakes. And Young Ninjas, hopefully this will be a gun round victory, as it was, of course, on Vertigo when it went for the first gun round. The difference is they were on the CT side back then. Now, of course, as the Ts, they have to deal with the massive force of utility that Flames are throwing against them.
Loads of utility, in fact. Young Ninjas really fighting for this banana control, but Sapek so good on 2. Thought he might even get the 3rd, but Roy, luckily for him, Sapek switches out for the smoke grenade. So that's going to allow Young Ninjas to get themselves 2 early important frags. Opening things up towards the B-bomb side could be the final destination, but instead, still look at the time. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. That gives them ample opportunity to go towards the A-bomb side, for example. Wonder what's Sapek's role going to be in this round. Perhaps he could try to go for the aggressive play, or will we see Young Ninjas moving first? Look at the Flames, though. They're going to try to fight for some banana control, and they're going to be in for a nasty surprise, though. Nico Dawes, ooh, okay, love the setup. They're going to clear up banana. No, there's not a single player there, and for Young Ninjas, they've chosen the right site.
Well, this is certainly going to be a little bit better. Young Ninjas, of course, A site is theirs, and as I said, the first gun round finally won. The difference that Copenhagen Flames, last time, if I recall, Yabi was the only surviving member with a FAMAS, right? And here, of course, Roy and Nikodos join him with the AWP and the M4. The biggest difference, I believe, is the fact that, well, when you look at the economy, it is actually pretty good for Flames, considering everything. That the fact that they'd lost quite a few players in those 3 rounds that they've won. Young Ninjas, on the other hand, it's cool that they're able to contend early on, that they're able to get some work done. And interestingly enough, again, to just put it into perspective, not a single player on A site was really, traded out. It was more of a, okay, we got 2 entries towards B. Now let's, the rotation's going to come over B. Let's go A, and they had a free entry to site itself. In any case, first round for Young Ninjas. Let's hope it's not the last for this first half.
And of course, folks, you can always check out our sponsor of the event. That is going to be Coinbase. Be sure to check them out over at coinbase.com. But yeah, if you're a team like Young Ninjas, you're absolutely looking for that early start. They did not manage to secure the pistol. The second round as well was out of the question, but at least they get the gun round going. That's the one saving grace. Sapek, though, has gone for the early plays as well, but this time, Nico Dawes advances. Finds the early frag here on Sapek. That does slow down the advancement here of Young Ninjas. Well, you say that, you can still see some of the players still lingering about. For example, Cozy being one of them. Doesn't really see anyone here in the side of Copenhagen Flames, but that's probably for the better if you're the Flames. You already have the opening frag. You don't have to control Banana any longer.
Exactly.
If the trade frags are good enough, it should be more than enough to secure the round win.
It's going to be difficult for Young Ninjas to get a refrag going and then at the same time, not commit to a site. Because usually as the T, you don't want to exactly commit to a site with a man missing, because that does mean you're going in perhaps outnumbered. And beyond that, getting a refrag after the first minute mark on Inferno is extremely difficult, because usually that means that after the first minute mark, the CTs do then go into a very defensive posture. As we can see on middle, there are smokes available, so likewise is a few other utilities, but it is going to be still an A play. This time Yabi in pit alone and isolated. Where's the support from Long? Zyphoon very late to the party, and that is the game. And more specifically, the round, not the game. That will be the second one to Young Ninjas. Beautifully done. That is what you want to see. I gotta say that I am pleasantly surprised by how Young Ninjas are able to take initiative in such a position. And Yabi, the biggest surprise to me was the fact that they had two players on long, and they just kind of ignored the fact that Yabi's alone on site. I mean, Roy and Zyphoon should be there supporting him as soon as we hit that minute mark. So as soon as the seconds clock down to 50, 45, you should have one player on site, one in pit at the bare minimum. And then the guy that's usually on long, so the third player on A, would have to play on the corner of long towards library, or towards side corner where he would be immediately able to help the side push or the pit push or anything of the like. Because if that was the case, I guarantee you, Young Ninjas lose the first entry, it's 5v3, then they probably get Yabi or Zyphoon on site, and then it's 4v3, and then probably still trades go back and forth in favor of Copenhagen Flames. In any case, right here, we see this is what I'm talking about. See, imagine if there was somebody on site and somebody on the corner of long. They could have supported Yabi's hold. Instead, they go in one by one. The defense, of course, a little bit too hectic. And the result, the round for Young Ninjas. Beautifully executed by YN, though. Gotta give it to them. I love how they go about it nonchalantly. They just go for it, and they succeed.
Perhaps it's also the fate in a guy like Yabi. If we remember their previous encounter against Tricked, that's when Yabi had a tremendous run of form. He was playing, of course, the anchor position there in the pit. Of course, not an easy position to hold in World Counter-Strike, but Yabi was so good in it, anchoring the bomb site, even by his lonesome, being able to take down 1, 2, maybe even 3 players on the side of Tricked. So perhaps the Flames thought, okay, we can just leave Yabi in this position. He should be able to hold his own just like he's done in the past. But this time, though, he gets overwhelmed. And I like the fact as well here. Look at the current scoring here, 3-2. This is already much more competitive than what we witnessed anything on Vertigo.
It definitely is. Like, Young Ninjas finally showing what they're, capable of in a way. Because on Vertigo, we never really got to the chance to see that, nor to experience that. And it was kind of evident that they lost hope in themselves after, the first 8-7 rounds passed and they were still down on only 2 rounds. You could really tell that they lost hope in themselves. And I think that had a big play in their, in their quality as a whole. Zyphoon, though, this time round, LNZ alone to peak B, losing his life in the process. Perhaps a bit of a overextension once again. Not the first time we see the mistake here for YN, but last round they were able to make up for it. Let's see if they can do it so again. As we do have 2 players on Banana, 2 players on towards A. Well, 1 second mid and 1 apps. Let's see. Oh, Mannen, beautifully done. Nikodos, that is a mistake on the side of Copenhagen Flames, you can say as much. It's one of the basic setups of CT that you really don't want to mess up. It's the mirror setup on long that you always want to keep true to. And Danny this looks like another A play, but with 2 players in pit, I think this hold can be a lot better.
Yes, this time the 2 players should be able to dismantle at least a few of the young ninjas. Just the one. Roy gets his hands on Manon, but that's going to be young ninjas now taking over the bomb site once again and copying in flames. I'm not sure if Hooksy and Zyphon want to attempt this one, though we do see them abandoning their positions at the B bomb site. So perhaps they're going to go look to hide their weapons in say T-spawn for the matter. But yeah, that was weird. Yabi and Roy, 2 players in the pit, such a powerful position. It's never easy to flush the player out of the pit position. You can always just check in that Molotov, sure. But you can check in a smoke grenade zone and suddenly you can hide in the smoke. Evade the bullets for as long as possible, unless they get dangerously close.
Well,
And young ninjas, I mean, very good take.
definitely. I am actually quite happy to see them be so successful against 2 players defending from pit, of course. And the most important part was that they got rid of the small pit player or the mini pit player first. That was, of course, Yabi. Because if he gets the first frag, then obviously in that position, it can get a little bit dangerous. It can get a little bit out of hand. Roy could have potentially gotten a second one that would turn everything on its head. Speaking of that kitchen save, I mean, if we are to believe Indiana Jones, you're supposed to be safe from any bullet and even nuclear explosions if you hide in the fridge, but you know how that is. In any case, Sapek at 37 already, 8 a nade to the face, and this time 8 a bullet as well. Well, that's a facial reconstruction he's gonna need. A great start for the CTs, by the way. Not gonna lie, this is really good. Roy does evade being taken for a spin, though. That is important because a 5v4 position for the CTs right now is still not, it's still not as you could say as convincing, right? Because they have 3 deagles, not 5 rifles.
Oh, look at Nylo though, holding a very good position right now. Of course, we see the utility usage here from young ninjas. Perhaps some of the nades and Molotovs could have flushed out a player. Then Nylo could just peek from the apartments. But really, none of that will go his way just yet. But with 50 seconds remaining, it does look like young ninjas want to contest the say bombs it, or maybe this is all part of a very elaborate ruse. So right now, 40 seconds, even less time. I don't think they're going to try to fake this one out or try to go for the B bombs. That I think this will be the final commitment. Look how close they're getting towards the A bombs. And right about now, they're going to pounce. Fuzi with one, Zyphon with another. Oh, Zyphon getting 3. He will swing out with the AK-47, eliminating the players of Young Ninjas. They didn't even stand a chance. But 4 players now, Coppeting in Flames, finally fend off the bomb site.
Absolutely insane coming out from, of course, the Flames themselves. The way they play that one kind of gives you a taste of what is to come and, of course, of what they're capable of. I'm more eager to see where Young Ninjas take this moving forward. Of course, they have enough money to rebuy, or had. They have the op-up on Fuzi. This is an important point to make because Sapek will find one. Hooksy replies, though. And again, 4v4 in this case, it favors the tease as Nilo catches Roy. What the bloody hell is he doing? Pushing down middle like that is very careless and very much a foolish decision at the end of the day, because it leaves a very wandering CT side without having any information, without having any sort of knowledge about what is going on around them. Hooksy, though, finds one. Knife in hand, gets caught by LNZ. Unfortunately, Jabi from a small pit still, as he gets himself a piece of the pie. It's Nicodos in a 1v2. What a shot on Fuzi, though. And a 1v1, the bomb isn't even planted yet, and he does not need to push it. He does not need to risk dying here. He absolutely can wait a little bit longer. LNZ has 2 HP, Danny. 1 bullet, he's gone. You whiff in his direction, you fart in his direction, he's gone.
Oh boy, right now it's going to be a waiting game on the side of Nico Dawes. He has no information to speak of, so he's just going to have to wait this out. Meanwhile, we do see Linz going for a very, very long rotation. Oh boy, perhaps Nico Dawes can catch the player, but right now, is he going to look towards his right-hand side? No! They walk past each other. They have no idea about this one. Nico Dawes, of course, still thinking this is the A-side play. LNZ booked it towards the B bomb, so he's gonna get an easy bomb plant. And I'd say if you're Nikodas, you still want to try and attempt this one. Of course, right now with the bomb being planted, he's gonna have to make a very, very swift rotation. LNZ right now holding the aggressive angle. This is a duel.
He should have an
LNZ
AK
will
in
win.
hand.
He's got the perfect weapon, and LNZ will secure the victory for Young Ninjas.
Yeah, very careless there at the end of the day from Nikodos. Instead of having the AK in his hand, or at least a pistol, he literally runs into Banana with a knife. And here we see, of course, the expert from the first moments of the round itself. The push down by Roy J through middle. I don't know exactly what that was about, but, you know, he's still kind of not too careful, I could say. On the other hand, the final conclusion there of the round and a tie, 4-4. Timeout being used here. The second one already for Copenhagen Flames. They really are using them early on here, aren't they? Because usually we see these timeouts being taken at the well, a little bit in the later stages of the first half. So once we reach that 10th, 11th round, that's when we start to see the first timeouts. And of course, we do see... in this case, a little bit of worry on the faces of Copenhagen Flames. DJL, as I said, Daniel Narancic, really good player back in his day. Well, I mean, as if it was 10 years ago. It was basically a year ago that he still played, even less maybe. But I am eager to see where Young Ninjas take us moving forward. This was a splendid set of rounds they're able to at least pick up to begin with, and they've already got as many rounds as they had in the first game.
Oh, so it's a much better performance here on the side of Young Ninjas. There we go, Sapek. That's refrag here at Hooksy. Even though the Flames want to try to go for the aggressive plays, they're getting shut down somewhat rapidly here. 4v4 ensues. Still good for Young Ninjas, as mid control could also be on the agenda. Haven't really seen any mid presence here for Copenhagen Flames, but that also seemed to be the setup when they played against Trick. Mid control just doesn't seem to bother the players of Flames. They're more than willing to give it away, though for Young Ninjas, this is perfect right now. They have full presence. They can very easily just split the bomb site.
It is doable. Though the Flames have 3 players on B, and that's the problem. And they take down Sapek as well. All of a sudden, these 3 players could... I could see that being a collateral double. But let's see this man and the spray down. Yabi is ready. He still loses to Nilo, but Zyphoon on site. That's what I'm talking about. The third player is unexpected. Now Roy in middle. Again, Roy exposes himself in this position. Too eager to find frags, too eager to find control. Pays the price for it. Fuzi, 20 seconds, more than enough to plant a one-on-one against Zyphoon. 11 frags for Zyphoon and an AK. He's coming in through arches. Oh, he was heard. He was heard, and now Fuzi knows. Okay, the dude's coming through long. Let's go for it. And I can guarantee you he's not going to be expected to be left up. Actually, no. Never mind. At this point, Fuzi... I feel like he's already won this. Zyphoon is wasting way too much valuable time in his position on site. And as soon as he peeks, he is dead here. Or is he? Or is he? Fuzi! Nice shot. Ticket.
Oh.
And still cannot save it. Yeah, too little time, unfortunately. If he had not chased him immediately, then he would have time. But because he chases, gives chase, can't work it out. Beautifully done by Young Ninjas. I love it. Even after a disastrous beep attempt, that was a lot better of a finisher than what we had expected.
Yeah, you're right about this B attempt. It's not looking good on the side of Young Ninjas, and this frag absolutely sets the tone here. Fuzi gets it, and that is, of course, a clutch for him at the very end. Young Ninjas right now looking dangerous against the side of Copenhagen Flames. You could even see the tactical timeout coming in here from Young Ninjas, even though they're still in the lead. They're still having that discussion. What we see as well, the side of Copenhagen Flames, I mean, somewhat of a lackluster investment by the looks of things. We're going to see some armors. We're going to see some of those upgraded pistols. But if you guys want to see yourselves with a better inventory, perhaps you might be interested to check out our sponsors at CS.money, where, of course, you can trade up some of your old skins to get some fresh new skins. You can always buy skins or perhaps sell some skins to get yourself a brand new look. Of course, be sure to head on over to CS.money. As we can see, though, Young Ninjas very quickly moving up Banana. Some early damage inflicted. LNZ, though, precise on the one player. Mana responds with his. Sapek losing a lot of HP. Still, though, 2 versus 4.
Well, this is excellent. Young Ninjas, they really are making this one happen, and I love what I'm seeing here. The life blooming from the team of Young Ninjas, finally getting some more, I guess you can say, getting some more control over their plays and over the actions. But look at this, the rotation, the second player, this time Nikotos with the Deagle coming out through library, trying to be the, you know, the pin in the haystack as Yabi's hiding on site. Unfortunately, he can only do the one thing. He can only do the one kill. Well, can only get the one thing kill, unfortunately. That is going to be the 6th one. So Young Ninjas, lucky to be alive and well thought out to go A, you know, and avoid hitting B there. But Nikodos, he can be a nuisance if nothing else.
Oh, that's a nice little sting there in Sapek at the very end. Making sure that even though Young Ninjas, good job with the victory, you still have to be very careful against the squad of Copenhagen Flames. And right now, of course, it is going to be the reinvestment of the side of the CTs. Yeah, they seem to be running out of rounds to work with here on the CT side, if I'm being honest. 6 for Young Ninjas. It's already very good. And Copenhagen Flames, you can see they're feeling the pressure. They're going to go for the reinvestment, even though they don't have the best set of utility. In fact, we don't even see a single diffuse kit side of Copenhagen Flames. So you can see they're more than willing to try and go for some of the early engagements, perhaps. Oh no!
Fuzi. Whew, that was beautiful. Checking out both players out of apps, but that is still not going to be enough. Roy replies, Danny, back to a 3-on-3. This is excellent for Copenhagen Flames if they can hold the position here. The Molotov is well timed as well. Zyphoon comes with the first, and of course they spot the player crossing. That's Sapek. It's a 3v2 right now that, of course, in this case, Young Ninjas have to deal with, and they don't really have a reply to what is happening around them. The boost onto Flowers is dangerous, and I'm not really liking it, but they might still get a free frag out of it. Or will they? Nope. Luckily, they go against pulling it off, because that could be resulting in a 2-on-2 quite quickly. Young Ninjas, though, Sapek at 15. 1 bullet, he's gone. 2 players from Ruins will be a problem as well. LNZ close range. There's the spray. Hooksy makes it look easy. 5th round for Copenhagen Flames. And 3 survivors means that their economy starts to take a bit of a dip in the right direction as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a great victory on the side of the Flames. And yeah, somewhat of a dent on the terrorist economy here for Young Ninjas. Great to see a bomb plant. That does give them some of that extra money to work with. But overall, I'd say it's going to be a simple eco. Or perhaps even, you know what? I can already see LNZ buying up in this route. In fact, you know what?
Yeah.
All the members of Young Ninjas going to reinvest in this one heavily. Full-on purchase it is.
I mean, I'm not particularly fond of the amount of utilities they have if they will not use them, but most likely they have a game plan behind it. I would at least presume as much. I dare presume as much, and I hope to see those utilities being utilized before they start actually pushing onto a site and losing the majority of their players, or at least starting to trade out their players. The Molotovs, of course, can be used during the push itself, but the smokes and the flashbangs, let's see how they utilize them. Of course, at the end of the day, Yabi's going to be playing this classic position on balcony. I really like this spot, by the way. I feel like it's one of the stronger positions you can play as the CT. It is a problem, though, when you're being predicted to be here. Here comes the first run by. Here comes the second one. And like I said, the prediction is quite clear. They do not reply as quickly, but they definitely do quite effectively. That is beautiful. Shapik. He finds 2. That is enough. It's a 3v2 right now that Young Ninjas have to deal with, and I feel like they have the upper hand, especially with the weapons they pick up. Zyphoon and Hooksy might be inclined to try and save, or will they? Shapik is low, and so is Fuzi. There is a chance they could still get this.
Fuzi going for this one. Zyphon, though, let's screw that frag, and now 2v2 ensues. So for the Flames, they absolutely would try to go for this. For Sapek in the midi pit, such a powerful position. Oh, Hooksy steps out, and Zyphon will secure the frag here on Sapek. Is there going to be enough time?
He has it. No problem. I know it can be sometimes a little bit close, but yeah, as soon as he got that final frag, he had enough time to get close to the site, and there we have it. I am eager to see what Young Ninjas will pull out of this one now, pull a rabbit out of the hat, basically, because this is the second round loss. They still planted. They still got quite a few kills. Well, effectively, they got many kills. I would expect them to force here. Like, they won't have a perfect buy, but I would expect them to go into Kevlars and pistols again. Not necessarily into a full investment, but maybe a force was a strong word, but definitely an upgraded round, because the money for the CTs is worth looking at. They have nothing in the bank. If you can break them here, you again find yourself potentially breaking them in half and forcing them onto a force of their own. You know, that's just a force behind a force behind a force. And oh boy, towards Banana this time around. Hooksy's ready. The timing is perfect for him. Just as they run through, he is there, prepared. Zyphun holds his cross. And now a 1v1 against Fuzi. Will lose, but it's a 1v3 that Fuzi has to win.
This is going to be somewhat difficult for Lonesome Fuzi. Oh, I say that. Roy is going to go down, so for Fuzi, he'll get that bomb planted. Going to put himself at 1 versus 2. Not really aware of the positioning of Yabi and Nikodos, who are coming in the back lines. Love the fact that Yabi and Nikodos are sticking together in this one. So this should be a very powerful combination, though. Fuzi might just be able to spot out the first, but it will be Nikodos with, I think, the P2000 to secure that frag. Not too shabby. Copenhagen in Flames managing to close things out, even though it does come down to the post-plant scenario, and somewhat of a more expensive round, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it's definitely a very expensive round that will make Flames suffer more than anything, because they do lose 3 players. Luckily, at the end of the day, we are approaching the end of this first half, so it is the 14th round. So as long as they keep like 3 players alive in this one, the Flames should be fine finding enough economy to rebuy the next. Though Young Ninjas, I love what we see here from them. We will be seeing a classic Banana take this time. Unfortunately, where's the flash? The fallen flash, way too late. LNZ peeks out too soon, or the flash is too late. One or the other is true. Now, which one it is, we'll never know. But the fact is, it was not there, and that is going to be costing Young Ninjas their first entry. Or their first player, if you want to put it like that. Nilo alone in apps as well. Of course, he is the connecting element, the cohesive element that brings it all together. Manen, though. Nice one on Nikodos. That's the op out of commission. This is perfect. This is a chance now they can pull off into the B site and actually get a great deal of control. And I don't think they've heard Manen push over. No, they definitely did not. With a knife in hand, in comes Roy. He gets absolutely decimated. Another one for Manen. No, Hooksy wins the duel. And on side, Zyphun is still waiting. I'm not sure they will be expecting him. I'm fairly certain they might not be actually expecting him. This could be devastating.
Such a powerful position here for Zyphun. All he has to do right now is just play the waiting game. Oh, Sapek right now might just go in for the fight. Zyphun gets his, but Nilo aware of it. That is going to allow Copenhagen Flames to, well, just get that one frag of the B bomb site. But for Young Ninjas, have a really good chance here. But interestingly enough, no bomb plant just yet. Yabi, though, might be in for a nasty surprise as he peeks out. Nilo, though, out in the open. I'm sure that a player like Yabi did not expect that positioning here from Young Ninjas. There we go. Classic Inferno. The half, 7-7. And of course, there's only one way to end it. That's going to be 8-7.
Well, nonetheless, it's a good ending for Young Ninjas, no matter how poor of a start it might have been. I want to see where it goes here for, of course, Young Ninjas. If they close out 8-7 for themselves, I feel like that is a massive, massive upgrade. I mean, even 7-8 isn't bad, but 8-7 to at least get them that moral support back. I think that's you know, that's gonna be worth mentioning. As we can see here, the last round, I'm fairly certain that's gonna be the ending. Although Zyphun. But then, alas, again, Roy. Roy every single time that the Flames get an entry, Roy seems to be on the opposite side of that entry and just die. Oh, Yabi Nikodos, what the hell? What? Okay, 1v2, Manen. Let's see if he can pull it off.
Really powerful setup there from Copenhagen Flames, leaving Manen in a very awkward position. Of course, expecting someone there to perhaps go for a bit of a peek in middle. Right now, with just on 10 points of health, he's going to make his way towards the A-bomb site. Of course, Yabi holding the pit position. Be waiting for a certain player in the form of Manen. Ooh, I like the fact that Manen is taking the high ground. That's going to allow him to find the frag on Yabi. Zyphun, though, has to hurry up right now. but not going to make any single sound. Q does not want to give away his positioning. On the side of Manan, though, he's just waiting for the player to appear close by, and Manan doesn't see anyone towards long. Xiphon could be in for a nasty surprise. I say that, though. Oh! Manan! Absolutely insane. Spins around to get the frag, and that's going to allow Young Ninjas to get the 8th.
I mean, that's a vital round victory there at the end of the day, because that, it's not just about the 8th round, right? When we're honest, right? It's not just about the fact that they're able to get relatively good end. Well, actually, a really good ending considering the T side of Inferno and everything like that. It's the clutch that I think brings up the entire team of Young Ninjas onto the level that we expected them to already have on Vertigo. It's the actual happiness, the adrenaline pumping, and the energy that puts them in the right direction. LNZ, he was not even watching the round. You could tell him he was just like face palming, just waiting to see what happens, to hear what happens. Unfortunately for the side of Copenhagen Flames, they'll be a little bit more distressed about this ending, but let's find out for certain, of course, how this one goes, what entails here in our second half. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are watching Blast Rising 2021. Of course, myself and Danny here covering the playoffs. This is the first semifinals. We were already supposed to finish the first one, technically the first one today at 1 o'clock that it would have to begin. Of course, Double Pony versus... my lord, the Spirit Academy. Thank you. But we will have that tomorrow, so no worries. We didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. Nobody missed it. It is still happening, just tomorrow. When tomorrow also we'll have the 3rd place match and the grand finals, Danny. That's gonna be one stacked hell of a day, man.
That's going to be a lot of Counter-Strike there, folks, which you absolutely don't want to miss. Just like I'd say, you don't want to miss the second half as well, because now things are getting interesting. An 8-7 scoreline here for Young Ninjas, clinching it out at the very end, the victory here. As for Copenhagen Flames, they're going to be playing on that T side. Xiphon, of course, had an amazing run of form on CD side. The B side, holding on to it for as long as possible, picking up those 18 frags. Bit of a shame that Yavi was a little bit quiet, and that's the second rock you expect on the A bomb side. But right now, they're going to flow into the B bomb side. Copenhagen Flames, they will not see a single player. That's maybe for the best.
And a free side to take, bomb plant as well, as you say. Yeah, it's definitely for the best for Young Ninjas in this case. Whoever would be on site, if it weren't 2 players that would have absolute control, it would be a disaster. Luckily, Manan, this time the retake comes out strong as they find 1. The second as well, Nilo, very accurate, very deadly. Roy does reply. 4v3 all of a sudden as Fuzi comes out on top. The trades are still favoring the CTs. It's a 1v3. Let's see what can happen. Well, the answer is nothing. Roy falls. The round is going to Young Ninjas, and their first pistol in this series is actually gotten, as they will secure themselves the 9th round and take the advantage to the highest they've ever had in this series as a whole. Which is weird, but brutally honest here. At least they find themselves some control early on. In the second half, of course.
I mean, for Young Ninjas, this is just perfect. They can continue on with their streak of rounds. Which for Copenhagen Flames, probably a little bit more dissatisfying. We still have to remember that this is a fresh roster. You had their first official matchup on the 19th. Right now, it's the 22nd, so they still haven't had a lot of opportunities to practice, to play a lot of those official games. This is currently their 3rd one. As previously, they did face off against Strict, managed to secure the I think it might have been a 2-0 victory against LDLC as well. I think it had been a 2-1 or a 2-0 victory. This one being the 3rd one, of course. There's still not a lot of data to work on for Copenhagen Flames, that's for sure. But they definitely have some very skilled individuals.
I mean, absolutely. I think that's no longer in doubt, or never really was in the first place. Roy, beautiful entry though, as he's able to get himself the first. Puts it okay into high gear now. Roy, of course, ramps up the RPM. It's getting a little bit hot in here. Young Ninjas, them losing this round is actually a bigger problem than we would care to admit. Though, good nade brings down Roy down to 21. Nikodos as well at 55, but the damage at this point is still not enough to get the, to get the round, to get the kill, and that's B side wide open. Young Ninjas, of course, they rotated off from B. They realized, you know what, we might be in trouble if we leave only 2 on site, so let's rotate Shapek off as well. Unfortunately, doesn't really work out as well as they'd hope. Shapek does get Hooksy, though. At least he gets himself one, so a 4v3 retake is still doable. They're coming in late, and they have a single kit. So LNZ, he needs to get onto the bomb, be it if he dies on the bomb or not, sure, but he needs to get onto the bomb.
Gotta try to get that bomb defused right now, Young Ninjas, but in a 2 versus 3 such as this one, it's just gonna be too difficult for the youngsters. Well, not finding any frags as well. Could potentially chuck in a grenade for good measure, but they're getting closer and closer to the eventual victory of Copenhagen Flames. That will be their round to take, as this purchase in the second round, it was a very powerful one. Having so many rifles to work with, dealing the damage here on Young Ninjas early on definitely sets the tone. And from there on out as well, love the play that even though they get themselves a few frags in this mid position, not really committing towards the A bomb site just yet, which could have been just standard practice. To get the 2 kills on the A bomb site, absolutely hit that area of the map. But instead, the Flames, they linger, they go towards the B bomb site. Absolute stellar choice. Not a single player to face, and yes, that'll be a good response here on the side of Copenhagen Flames, even though they do lose that pistol.
A little bit unfortunate here that they lose this second round, because this does bring them up to, of course, that I'm speaking about Young Ninjas here. The thing is, their economy takes a bit of a deep dive, and we can see that they're left over with a single M4 on Nilo, the rest with pistols, CZs, Deagles, a little bit of utility given what they can afford. Perhaps I would have not minded a single diffuse kit as well, kind of helps them out a bit. But in general, this is going to be around that Young Ninjas, if they win, of course, they're going to be propelled up to the high heavens with success, though. If they lose, they'll find themselves not only tied up, but most likely losing by 1 round. Great nade. Zyphoon times it perfectly. Also doesn't go behind sandbags, so I'm not sure if it was intentional to go directly in that position, but still hits its mark, intentional or not, and that was a good start for the Flames. As we can see, they're playing passive, man. They realize what they're up against. They know that this is most likely a force buy, because they would do the same if they were in the position of Young Ninjas.
Yeah, you can see this is a much more passive setup from Copenhagen Flames. Not going for the aggressive plays just yet, though. Sapek going for the peak. Flash rains in, but it's simply not good enough. As the players of Copenhagen Flames, yes, they're being very careful in their approach right about now. With that 3rd kill happening, you're absolutely going to commit towards the B bomb site, because you can never know where or in which area of the map Young Ninjas could play aggressively. So we saw some of the players, I think it might have been Nico Dawes or perhaps even Yabi, just holding the apartments, expecting some sort of push from Young Ninjas. That did not come through at the very end. As for the Flames, full control of the bomb site. Bomb plant absolutely will go their way.
Yeah, this is kind of going as we expected. When it comes down to losing that second round after the pistol, it's one of the more important ones. We talk about this, I think, too little in general, and I think this is one of the bigger problems that we have these days with the new economy. It's a deeper issue. It's more of an issue that has to be resolved in a way that gives the CTs a chance to not actually be completely out of it after they lose the second round, because it's so common these days that the Ts have a better buy in a second round after getting a bomb plant in the pistol, even after losing, that it's super hard for the CTs sometimes, in general at least, to get any sort of success out of it. And I honestly believe that there has to be change, because right now, for the most part, the Ts are at a massive advantage, and Copenhagen Flames know this. They'll be abusing this, and why shouldn't they? This is currently the way of the game. This is currently the meta, and Young Ninjas, of course, on the other hand, have to suffer the consequences. Already losing the first map, already being in a bit of a weird spot at the start of this one. A great ending on the first half of course, Inferno. But now, 9-9, tied up on a full eco. As I said, 10-9 should be expected. It is looking amazing for the Flames, given what they had to persevere through to begin with.
Okay, bit of a mid-push. Standard practice here in Inferno. We absolutely saw the Flames going for their early mid-push on the very first round here of CT side. And as we can see, it's going to be a pretty clean round. End up losing Nikodas, but not the biggest of issues here. Copenhagen Flames, though, extend the scoreline. 10-9 is going to be the scoreline here. Things are looking pretty quick here, I'd say. Moving quick, I'd say. This is perhaps the games on your phone. It could be moving quick if you get yourself the Red Magic 6 Series phone, a smartphone that is very fast and got itself a 165 hertz refresh rate screen. So absolutely could be something up your alley if you are a proper gamer.
Well, let's see where this one leads us to as we are getting ready for our 20th, the full buy for Young Ninjas. And great nades already raining down on Nikodos as he drops down to 14 HP. Zyphoon is going to be looking for control on Banana, and this could be an issue. LNZ alone, the flash again. It is far too late. It's not the first time we see this mistake from Young Ninjas. And LNZ, in that case, he was just testing out the waters, right? He wasn't really intending to peek, but unfortunately, there was a player waiting for him already. Zyphoon was expecting that spot. And the flash, unfortunately, comes out just a second too late. And in this case, we can safely say, sure, that was just a mistiming, but that is an entry. That, again, puts Flames ahead of the curve. And, ooh, Nilo, could be an opportunity he might get a refrag here. That's definitely a possibility. Don't know. He steps directly as Yabi looks at the position of balcony. He steps out, gets shot. And we have ourselves a B take behind all of this. Smoke's flying in, so do the utilities about to join in the fray. And I'm fairly certain they now know there's a boost on Flowers. Like, I have a feeling that they know that he is on Flowers here. Yep. It's a dead giveaway. When you have a rifle in CT just peeking out, you know that somebody's in Flowers almost guaranteed.
That's going to be a good scenario that Hooksy decides to check the flower point position. And yes, for Uzi and Manan, this is just not going to look good for them. Going to try to back away from this one, but a double peek here from Copenhagen Flames. That's so sick. Gonna make sure Young Ninjas don't even attempt the retake. And you saw how comfortable the Flames were. They were thinking, right, those guys are probably going to go for the save. Let's just double peek them. In fact, I think it might have been even a double, triple peek coming in here from the players. So sick. And so
many
good,
peaks,
of course.
You can't do anything. Yeah. And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Zyphoon on Banana. It's not that he does have... It's not like he has a massive advantage. It's just the fact that he was expecting, or at least thinking about somebody being there. And of course, whenever you enter Banana, you're kind of very worried, very much attentive to that position of sandbags, because you have to be. Because if there's somebody there and you don't check him, it can cost you not only a single player, it can cost you the whole round. So obviously, he's going to be ready for that. But the flash was one thing that, you know, for Young Ninjas, they really kind of needed it. LNZ, if he had that flash coming a second again sooner, most likely he can get the drop on Zyphon. That's, you know, that's an AK drop. That's Banana loss. That's 4v5 in favor of Young Ninjas. And they can take not only Banana control, they can be a little bit more aggressive elsewhere. Point is, they would have everything going for them. Now they are back onto an eco. Now they find themselves again on pistols. It is a disaster right now. And let's see, of course, if Flames can mitigate this pistol round, because it wouldn't be the first time they lose against it either, though. So they're not exactly the rising ponies and the rising shining stars that we make them out to be all the time. We've seen them lose pistols against Tricked before, and it has been a very... You remember that match, don't you? That was a very, 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 very dirty last map there on that best of 3. But... Wait a second.
LNZ dealing the damage. Tapek on the other side sees that no. Doesn't win against Zyphon. A whole minute left in the clock. Young Ninjas have done an amazing job at slowing down the advancement. We also have an AK-47 in the hands of Nilo. Oh boy, this could be dangerous right now. Also, take a look at the positioning of Manan. He could come in with a big flank at any moment now. 45 seconds, though. Nilo, beautiful. Zyphon goes down. Nico Dawes with the AWP cannot be the first man entering the bomb site. It's just too much. Whereas Hooksy could be the first one entering, clearing out the angles. Needs to be very concise as well. 25 seconds. Manan in the backlines. Not going to find anything just yet, but Hooksy alongside Nico Dawes. Need to be careful of the pit position. That's the spot. Oh, Nilo will be going down. LNZ, though, still on the bomb side. Not a lot of time remaining. They have to clear him out. And Hooksy will get the job done. That's so sick. Plenty of time to get that bomb planted. As in the case of Manin, though, finally he's getting in position, but with that lonesome P250, he should be an easy target. Oh, I say that. Hooksy spots him out. Doesn't have to peek, though. That will be Nicodon's job. And Copenhagen Flames bounce back from a very difficult round.
Yeah, very dangerous round. It's not just difficult, it's a very dangerous one for them as well, because, you know, it is close to being tied up. You know, just, what, 3 rounds? That's nothing. Or in this case, it would be 2 rounds. So Young Ninjas, if they were to win this force bite with pistols, or this mini upgraded round with pistols, they would be down to a single round difference, and that'd be pretty satisfying, you know, from their part. And again, the same comes into mind, as I said this at the end of the first half, this mentality issue that they've been having from Vertigo, because I think it's pretty evident that they had a bit of an issue. And oof, nicely done by Shapek. This time comes from the other position. Nikodos gets surprised. It's a beautiful entry, and an actual entry that they can work with. Let's hope to see if they can continue it in this manner, though, because right now Copenhagen Flames are still hot on their asses, and of course you don't want to let this one up. This entry is vital, or at least was vital, especially since it's Nikodos with the op that falls as well.
Manin holding the angle with the AWP. That's going to be Sapek, though. Ooh, up close. Wins out the duel against the Opper. That's a massive pickup. A second frag going the way of Young Ninjas, and the second one for Sapek. Right now, the Flames will have to look for options elsewhere. I was maybe hoping for Zyphon to recover the AWP. Maybe he would be interesting to do some opping, especially now that he's just on such a good form. 22 frags already. Hanendo holding the mid position. Doesn't see the player just yet, but now, of course, is very much aware of what's going on. Has to be careful of the apartments. Yabi is playing in that position. And now with 30 seconds remaining. 3 players are down. On the A-bomb site here from Young Ninjas. Should be able to deal with the incoming push.
There we go.
Fuzi gets the one here in Zyphon. That is a nice little pickup. Yabi and Roy, though, not a lot of time remaining. 15 seconds, in fact. But considering the current situation they're in...
Nah, they're going to save, man. Yeah. Like... I feel like this is a must-save for them, technically. Like, as you said, the situation they're in, 5v2, they could have attempted, they could have jumped out of balcony, out of short, you know, went for the chance, and maybe 1 out of 10 times they would get this, or 2 out of 10 times they would get it, but for the most part, they most likely, you know, they're well aware that chances are they wouldn't get further than maybe a single frag or 2. In any case... You might actually like to check out Coinbase, of course, sponsoring this tournament, as they have been throughout the entirety of it, and doing a splendid job with that, of course, enabling all of us to be here and the teams to play, of course, for the prize pool, currently of $15,000 for the first place. And with that, of course, being said, we are not done just yet. This is Young Ninjas with 10 rounds on the board, double digits for them that make them a bit more competitive. But lagging behind, more specifically, 2 rounds still, and they have the op on Fuzi. That's the most important part, and he's also been performing pretty well. If we recall, you know, both Manin and Fuzi had a very slow game on Vertigo. At least this time around, it's a little bit of a different storyline.
Yeah, finally, good to see the players of Young Ninjas stepping up. Here in Inferno, it seems to be just so much better for them, and Sapek as well. The only player holding Banana... in the previous turn as well, has gone on for a few peaks and successfully managing to get those 2 frags. That will be a great way to open things up if you're Young Ninjas. Nicker Dots, though, ooh, doesn't land the flick. That's a difficult shot to make here for a guy like Nicker Dots' stature. Right now, with 45 seconds remaining, Fuzi as well with the AWP on the other side. You can finally see Copenhagen Flames fighting for some control here. Fuzi, luckily, is able to evade the incoming players. Repositions for one on Hooksy. Drops the bomb in a very precarious position. Yabi lining up the Molotov there for the pit position. Nilo will be forced out. But we don't see the peak, though. Nilo will get the one here on Roy. Yabi finally chimes in. That's a great little pickup.
This is a 2-on-2 right now, and this could get dangerous. Fuzi, if he misses a shot, he's going to be dead. Nikodos, there's the no-scope, but Fuzi, as I said, if he misses the shot, that could get a doozy. Though Yabi is alone now, and in 2-on-1, not enough time to get the bomb, to plant the bomb, and to even save himself from 2 players coming in from apps and from short long. That is going to be 12-11. Great little pickup by Ninjas, and they are making this one a lot better than what it was to begin with. This entry by Sapek as well was really nice to watch, because it's very hard to get an entry on Banana, actually. Especially on gun runs in general. Usually you have Molotovs and flashbangs flying your way, so as the CT, you're in grave danger. But at the end of the day, they're able to get away with it. And 12-11 does mean that, of course, in this case, Copenhagen Flames, they are starting to feel the pressure a little bit themselves. The water, perhaps, from Young Ninjas dousing the flames, of course. But Hooksy again, look at the spray. Hooksy this time burns down as he takes LNZ with him. Zyphoon tagged as well. So in this case, I think the upper hand is going to the side of Young Ninjas. They have the advantage when it comes to HP. Not perfect, but better than what they can deal with. And where's the flash? If they're intending to go through this wall position, they need a flash. Molotov is deep, and it hits a player. That's the bomb! Roy! That's the bomb! Oh, man. And this is the same... Dude, do you recall? Last time, against Strict, exactly the same scenario. Literally the same scenario. With the difference being, it wasn't Roy, but I think it was Nicodos or Jabby that brought the bomb over the edge there, lost it on Banana, and they lost the round because of it. 3v4. Let's see.
Ooh,
Yeah,
they're gonna have to move in. This is not looking good for them. Having to take the fight while it's jumping up on car. It's not gonna be easy here for the Flames. A little bit dissatisfying way to end their push here on the B bomb side, because initially when they fight for some of that Banana presence, a 4v4 still good for the Flames. Then we see Roy pushing in. I thought that must have been a two-man push. Otherwise, why would Lonesome Roy go in for the push through a smoke grenade first and foremost, and also carrying the bomb? So, miscommunication on the side of the Flames, I would presume. Otherwise, why else would Roy make that grave mistake? And that was a big mistake. 12-12, and allowing Young Ninjas to even up the scoreline.
This is excellent coming out from Young Ninjas, of course. And even though perhaps a little bit to be thankful to Copenhagen Flames for making the mistake. LNZ, nades flying in, good spray. He will catch himself a piece of the pie, make it 4v4. At that point, Young Ninjas at least do not have a man disadvantage. Though their defense has to be split across two sides, which means 2 players for one side, 2 players for the other. But they'll pull the classic CT rotation. Of course, keep LNZ in long towards Archers, towards that little fountain spot where they can keep an eye out on A side long. But Nikotoz, that was a super well thought out play, and more specifically a frag. But Nilo, the spray, Nilo! There you have it, Nilo, a hat trick, and that should be enough. 13-12. That is going to be the round. That is going to be an eco now next, and that is 14 to Young Ninjas. Beautifully played out. Nilo, the man of the hour. His spray is what saves the day here, and Young Ninjas can be thankful 10 times over that he has such a beautiful, accurate spray, and that he can close it out himself.
I mean, he just single-handedly wins the round for Young Ninjas without his efforts. I mean, we even saw the players of Copenhagen Flames looking on the balcony position. They were hoping to see someone from Young Ninjas. And even though they were at the ready, still not as quick as Nilo. Love the change-up as well here for the Flames, throwing some utility towards Banana, trying to pull off some rotations, but now it is the full-on hit on the A-bomb site. Banana getting a few here. Nikodons going down to Sapek. This is turning out to be an easy round here for Young Ninjas, not even losing a single player.
Well, there we have it. 4-4, timed out. Last timeout, well, timeout, not timed out. Last tactical one for Copenhagen Flames, and I think they are definitely a little bit distressed about how everything is turning. I mean, they had a distinct advantage, 12-9. They really had a good spot to work from. Unfortunately, they come up short, and Young Ninjas, this is what we expected to see on Vertigo. And finally, we're seeing a bit more life, a little bit more energy from them as a whole. And with that being said, it is the last chance for the Flames to pull this one away into their hands. And of course, you might be able to pull a few skins in your hands as well. CS Money. Go check them out. Again, a sponsor of this tournament. They're enabling all of us to be here. And of course, if you're looking for some skins to buy, perhaps CS Money has what you are looking for. 14-12, last hope, and Copenhagen Flames, they're about to be thrown onto Overpass as our third and final map if they do not find success here. And oh, LNC, Yes, sir. Beautifully done. That is absolutely superb.
Nope, doesn't look like the Flames will be finding any success here on Inferno. Now they're being shut down by Young Ninjas in Banana. As this time, though, we do see, Yabi trying to go for the kill there, but will not go his way. Not a single frag thus far here for Copenhagen Flames, even though we have 3 players of Young Ninjas who are bleeding on life support. Could be easy frags, could be an easy take of the bomb side, but the numbers, they're there. Jason.
Well, Roy, Nikotos. I don't think they really have an option here besides just going for it. That's it. Go for it. Maybe you can do something. I mean, we know most likely that the answer is here. They will do nothing, or at least they will most likely be unsuccessful. But it's better to be unsuccessful in this case. Get the max loss bonus. Have at least 5 AKs across the board rather than saving it up and trying for something. But in any case, here comes the push. Here comes the attempt. Will they check flowers this time around? I'm fairly certain they don't. Nope, doesn't even matter. Manen finds one, and that is going to be a wrap. 15-12, and a clean round by Young Ninjas. 3 players down below 10 almost, as that is going to be 15-12, and most likely the map itself going the way for Young Ninjas. Their choice, their victory, and now ready to pound again and take that spot for the grand finals tomorrow, man.
Oh, this is getting exciting. Young Ninjas. A team that struggled so much there in the previous map. On Vertigo, it was a 16-4 victory here for Copenhagen Flames. The fact that Young Ninjas in a position to secure that second map gives me hope, but this is not a good start for Young Ninjas. They're getting the full wrath of the Pro 90 and the Mac Daddy. This is going to be Young Ninjas in a very difficult position, though. Manen, good pick up here in Roy. Opens things up for now, but the full rotation coming in from Young Ninjas. Manen, he's not slowing down.
Manen!
Could go for more, but will be going down.
The man. This guy. That's beautiful to watch. Can't get more than, the one. But, oh boy, Nilo comes into the cross. He's got the bomb control. This is devastating. Young Ninjas, they might have looked like they would lose the round to begin with, but Nilo saves the day, and so does Manen there, and that is pretty much it. I think this is going to be 16-12. I do not believe Yabi can solve this issue, this puzzle. 50 seconds, 2 players are waiting for him. Fuzi with the op and a Molotov still in his hands, whilst Nilo has himself, of course, the AK and ready to take up this fight any time of the day. 38, and Yabi with the Galil even. It's even worse. Although, nice shot. 1v1. Maybe. I might be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. Caster's curse is real. Ooh, good Molotov timing as well. Fuzi forced out of position, but the op is still on the cross. And of course, he does not miss at the end of the day there. 16-12. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into our 3rd map of Overpass. The grand finals yet decided not who will be in that position, who will be course, reaching that position for tomorrow. That is excellent coming out from Young Ninjas, though.
Excellent from Young Ninjas, and some mistakes on the side of Copenhagen Flames. Definitely a bit of a downer way to lose the very last round here off Inferno, because things were looking up here. Things were looking very solid there for Copenhagen Flames initially, winning themselves them rounds. Young Ninjas able to fire back, but if you were to take a look at the mistakes as a whole being made from both teams, to me it does look like Young Ninjas ended up making less mistakes and say Copenhagen Flames, especially that round in particular, the 5 versus 3 on the B bomb site. How do Copenhagen Flames end up losing that round?
I mean, it's the mistake of having the bomb carrier move over the edge, drop the bomb in the wrong position, and basically give the tactical advantage to the CTs, right? And it's not just that. It's the round where, for example, Roy runs through Banana, and there's a Molotov coming out from the CT side, and then, the player that was next to him, I believe it was Hooksy or Yabi, pull back. And Roy, he decides that in his moment, in the heat of the moment, he decides to push forward with the bomb. Dies, drops the bomb, then forces the rest of his team to go through the smoke to the corner of Banana. That's really hard to break if there's 3 players watching it. And, the CTs are, of course, going to be hungry and basically like sharks in the water smelling blood. And Young Ninjas, they abuse those mistakes, and they should be abusing those mistakes, because that's the way to win. Unfortunately, these days against Copenhagen Flames, you got to be a little bit more on point. You got to be a little bit more, you can say, relentless, and they do so exactly. 16-12 final score, and a bit of a failure on the side of Flames at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it. I would say that the Young Ninjas definitely had a great run of form, but we also saw some of the individuals just step up massively, just winning some truly amazing rounds, some clutch scenarios, some great spray downs from Nilo, for example. Sapek really stepping up there in the B bumps and being a massive issue there for Copenhagen Flames. And now you have to wonder, the third map will be upon us. It is going to be Overpass. It is going to be a map in which, again, Young Ninjas, they've played it, but Copenhagen Flames, being a fresh roster, still haven't played a single official game on Overpass. So you have to wonder, do they have what it takes to bounce back? Or can Young Ninjas potentially close the best of the three? There's only one way to find out. That is, of course, by tuning into the broadcast. But for now, folks, we're going to go to a very quick break. We'll be sure to bring you that third map, so stay tuned.
In
words and I'm making sense. I'm interested in all that flourishes from ignorance. Nothing in my way now except for my own years. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy staring at the stars. They don't seem so fun. They don't seem so
I'm
fun.
getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bout to hit our groove. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of go, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars. Driving hours in the car, the future is ours. I can tell by the stars, they don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of go, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars. Driving hours in the car, the future is ours. I can tell by the stars, they don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of go, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars. Driving hours in the car, the future is ours. I can tell by the stars, they don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of go, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing all these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars. Driving hours in the car, the future is ours. I can tell by the stars, they don't seem so.
When I saw you downtown, I started acting like a clown, just to see if you would notice me and maybe get you to laugh. I did get some attention from the girl right next to you. Then all my friends saw me fleeing for my life. Steam blood. Steam blood. I gotta run, run, run. I gotta run.
Welcome back there, folks, to our third and final map of the best of three. Thus far, I'd say the series have delivered, even though Young Ninjas had a difficult run of form on the very first map. I mean, they were just battered and bruised, if I'm being honest. That second map came down to be somewhat a little bit closer. In fact, we saw finally some of the individuals from Young Ninjas stepping up, and not only did they make that game close, they also managed to secure the win. But now, it is going to be the third map of Overpass. And of course, heading into this one, we do have a lot of question marks, don't we, Over?
Oh, that's a good point to make, and definitely a good way to put it. There are a lot of question marks on both sides, more than anything on the Flame side, because of their mistakes kind of being very numerous throughout Inferno. They really did screw themselves over quite a little bit in many crucial rounds as well. You know, the biggest that come to mind is the one on Banana where they dropped the bomb forward a little bit too soon, you know, or a little bit too late, or the one where they again at the last round, for example, the last round where they went with the bomb into ruins instead of actually focusing on site and then kind of working from that point forward. It really looked like they would be losing, or that they did lose focus and kind of just went by their own kind of cowboy style way, just like, let's go, you know, let's go shoot some heads kind of thing. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Young Ninjas, of course, they are going to be prepared for those kind of plays, and I expect them to be prepared here on Overpass as well.
Yeah, absolutely. On the case of Young Ninjas, they've played Overpass, right? They have at least some sort of track record heading into this one. And even though they are somewhat of a fresh roster, they've actually already played 23 maps of Overpass, at least the past 3 months. Absolutely, they probably may have played even more maps, if I'm being honest. So they really have at least some sort of basis of how to play that map. On the case of Copenhagen Flames, they're completely fresh. They're freshly heading into this new map of Overpass. They haven't really practiced it. Or perhaps they may have practiced it, but for sure they haven't played it as an official. That's probably the big problem for a squad like Copenhagen Flames, is that, well, or for us, maybe the casters, is that we just don't really know what to expect. We know what we can expect from some of the individuals, but as a team, as a cohesive unit, as a whole, what to expect. Now, that is a question.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. We don't really know what they can bring on the table on Overpass. And I think we can take, you know, we can kind of take it out of the words of Roy as we had the interview with him on Wednesday about, yeah, sure, you know, we are a fresh team. We practice just a little bit, but confidence seems to be key in their stead. Of course, experience that they've had as players, because many of these guys have been through many teams beforehand. So I feel like even though we can't really know what to expect, I think we can expect much of the same what we've already seen throughout the entire series, with those mistakes that have been culminating on Inferno. Going one or two ways. In my eyes, at least one way is, okay, so those mistakes are going to be doubled now on Overpass, because usually, you know, the nerves and the third map and focus falling and all that kind of makes mistakes even more apparent and even more repetitive. But it could be also, okay, we made mistakes in Inferno, boys. Let's get our heads back on our, you know, back on our shoulders. Let's screw them back up where they belong, and let's do this properly. Because in my eyes, Copenhagen Flames still feel like a very strong team, even though they're a fresh team. Though Young Ninjas, I feel like they've at least shown us what they're capable of here on the go-to-go basis. And now, of course, with our third map, Overpass, here, ready to go. Pistol is live, Danny. Let's not, let's not go into the theory crafting too much, and let's actually see with our own eyes. And of course, with the game itself starting off on our third and final map of this semifinals, Blast Rising 2021. With you are myself and Danny, and we are going to be bringing you the action throughout the entire weekend. Let's see where this pistol goes.
Oh, it's fast form from Copenhagen Flames. Just take a look at the minimap. So much map control going their way, and they're not even contested on the side of Young Ninjas. You can see that Ayabi is going to go for a bit of a spray there with a pistol, just trying to keep the CTs at bay. This is a good choice, because still the main push happening here on the A side.
Oof, this is going to be close, and as we can see already, LNZ, man, and great shots. Roger, aka Roy, replies, but it is going to be a 4v3 right now. And this is going to be a difficult round for the side of Copenhagen Flames because they have 4 players to deal with and 1 coming in through Con. If they do not find him in time, if that flank is successful, the round might as well be conceded. As we see LNZ, he's taking his time and, well, Roy finds the first. That's a great start. And all of a sudden, the T's might be in trouble for a little bit, but it seems like they've got enough control in their hands. This is going to be the first pistol again, going to the hands of Copenhagen Flames. It seems like LNZ, he does not have a kit. He just picks it up. Okay, so he has time still, at least a little bit. Oh, he has the opportunity as well, but cannot hit it. That is it. No more time, unfortunately, and the round is as good as gone. As Copenhagen Flames lose all 5, but they still get it at the end.
And it was also LNZ, the one player that found the majority of the frags in that round. And he was the one coming in the backlines. He was the one approaching from connector. It was the other players that were entering from the B bomb site, and yet they didn't really find a lot of success. We obviously saw Roy on Optimus Prime, a very powerful position to hold as a CT as well as a T in the post plant. Young Ninjas not securing the victory in that one. Copenhagen Flames continuing their streak when it comes down to these pistol round victories, or at the very least, they do have the majority of wins on these pistols. I do believe Young Ninjas, they must have won the pistol of the of the second half there on Inferno. From that, well, you obviously saw the second round being picked up there by Copenhagen Flames. This, though, however, second round forced by from Young Ninjas, full-on purchase. Scout in the hands of Mannen. Ooh,
and a collapse shot as well. That was insane. That was absolutely insane to watch, and a beautiful shot to be made. Yeah, Mannen, the man, as the Swedes would say. Definitely a valuable member of Young Ninjas. The oldest member of Young Ninjas as well, actually, interestingly enough. He is, I believe, 20 years old, if my memory does not deceive me. And with that, of course, making him the oldest member of the whole team. With the closest one being then Fuzi and Shapek with 18, and LNZ, I believe, also 18. And as I said, Nilo being the youngest. But unfortunately for Fuzi and Mannen as well, Yabi and Zyphon will get themselves the refrags.
Yeah, we're going to see the bomb plant going in soon here from Copenhagen Flames. Young Ninjas, though, still lurking by the smoke grenades, hoping to potentially find someone from the Flames, but they don't have to go for these aggressive plays. Sapek, though, close by with the CZ, has been a very ruthless opponent in the first, or shall I say, the first encounter there on Inferno. Sapek, though, nice pickup here, Nicodas. Looks like that's going to give them the confidence to move in the bomb site. Oh, still a 1 versus 2. Nilo needs to find the both. Oh, gets the
Nilo.
1. Makes it close, though. I mean, Yabi, it's a good thing he's got the reflexes to swing out early to make sure to get that refrag. But that was not a clean round for Copenhagen Flames.
Well, that is going to be a little bit better right now, it seems like. Absolutely. Copenhagen Flames, they cut it close. They really do cut it close. And as you say, yeah, it is a bit of a harsh reality they have to accept to lose 4 players. So at the end of the day, you know, it's not the end of the world, at least. And 2-0, another great start, just like we saw it on Inferno. And I feel like we'll see the same 3-0 start as we saw it originally, both on Inferno and Overpass. And if we go by history's, by history, in this case, we should be expecting the first round victory for the gun round for the Young Ninjas side. And did I see correctly already a tactical timeout by Young Ninjas, by the way? If I saw that correctly.
It's a technical one.
I see me a technical. Okay, fair enough. Technical makes more sense at this early, right?
Yeah, though if we recall the previous map of the best of 3 as well, I think it might have been a Young Ninjas tactical timeout when they were winning, I believe, a 2-4 scoreline, which was also quite interesting to note because Young Ninjas in the lead, they're taking the timeout. That was very interesting to note from a roster of youngsters as well. That's the one peculiar thing, because when we talk about these youngsters in Counter-Strike, the new academy teams and whatnot, I'm quite surprised to note that they also have this sort of regiment alongside them. And for some of them, sure, they do have a coach, so it does make sense. For example, inside of Spirit Academy, that the timeouts do come through. It's a good opportunity for discussion. But from what I've seen, Young Ninjas, in fact, do not have a coach. They are just the 5-man roster.
Well, yeah, they are not, as far as I know, they do not have an active coach. Yeah, probably have somebody that helps them with that role, and I wouldn't even be surprised if somebody from the main squad comes out there, you know, kind of gives them a few shouters, a few pointers. But for the most part, they're relying on themselves as a team to get the job done. And this is the Astralis stack that we talked about earlier so many times, and we even saw the attempt from YN beforehand already, both on Vertigo, I believe, and Inferno, but and in the later, or in the latter, of course, they never got an entry. Here, they show us why it is so strong to have 5 pistols in one direction, turned ready to pound on anybody coming their way. As expected, though, 3-0 should be the round soon enough here, or at least the score. 4 players from balcony. Interesting choice. Definitely not something I would expect, but, you know, it's a nice little tactical choice that potentially could give you a second frag on Xiphon. But the round is gone, and so is the first 3. And this is the real test of metal again. Fuzi, same kind of buy again. AWP, mini Kevlar, a little bit of utility. A single kit, actually. I'm not particularly fond of a single kit on a gun round, but I will make do with that. You know, I'll be happy at least having a single kit in general. That is, you know, that is great.
Yeah, at least they have the singular diffuse kit to work with. If it comes down to the post plant, that we'll have to wait and see if that will come through, because now Young Ninjas looking to play this one at least aggressive at the start. Fuzi with the AWP will be flashed out at the angle. Of course, we did see the nade stack come through here. LNZ barely flinching from the grenades. In fact, only inflicting just the 10 points of damage, so nothing of a great significance. Though we do see a push early here. Sapek again, first man of contact, gets the frag.
Well, the entry in this case is going to the side of Young Ninjas, and I guess history does like to repeat itself, because this is exactly how it went in the previous 2 rounds, every single time. 3-0 for Copenhagen Flames to open it up, and then losing this gun round. Minute on the clock, give or take. And it seems like it's going to be a B attempt. I like the idea here. The Flames will be connecting all of this with Nikodos coming through con, or at least something I hope will be Nikodos coming through con, because they do need at least one player on through short itself if they intend to go for the B take. Oh boy, Hooksy, he will find Sapek as Nilo is hiding in the corner there. The push comes a little bit too soon for Young Ninjas as they're not prepared. And a 3-on-3 ensues, 30 seconds. The push now continues on. Through short, it's going to be, of course, Nikodos holding the line. And they will check water. Absolutely, they'll be ready for it. LNZ has already been spotted in heaven. Fuzi with the op. And he will return on Xiphon. Back to a 2v2. The bomb again. Look at this. The same issue. The same problem they've been having so much in the previous maps. And do they expect a player on short is a better question. No, they don't. Oh my god, the round. That's Young Ninjas again. Danny, again.
Oh, some stellar timing here for Young Ninjas to win some of these really important fights. And as you can see, Young Ninjas, yeah, putting their players in some really optimal positions. And Fuzi as well, they're such a great position. Of course, no smoke grenade, no nothing. That will make him an easy opening to at least find these players. And even though, yes, Fuzi, that bomb carrier, it's the most important play, though. Probably the one here for Manen. Coming in from short, getting the frags as well. Gonna be very nice. And for Copenhagen Flames, I do believe Yabi, I think he might have died after the timer ran out. So now, as you're gonna notice, playing with that puny P250.
Yeah, that weapon ain't gonna be too helpful. Could be that he might have dropped a weapon to somebody, but I think it's the likely scenario. He died after time. Of course, the HLTV scorebot will tell us more about that in a moment once it catches up to us. In either case, this is a fantastic start to the side. Actually, no, he did not die after timeout, actually. So he presumably dropped an AK. In this case, I'd probably think to dropping it to Xiphon or Nikodos. On the other hand, you know, they're doing a splendid job. There is, of course, Young Ninjas in this case, again, holding the line. 2 in Monster, classic spot that we see many times from the CTs. And rotating already LNZ back towards Zay. Look at the confidence. I love this from, of course, the Swedes. They're realizing that it's very eerily quiet towards Monster, so they decide to rotate the fourth player or the third player immediately towards A, push into Monster most likely for info, and they will be confirmed as to what is happening against them, or in this case, towards them.
Oh, 35 seconds right now. Fuzi checking two angles at the same time, and right now the push comes in first for Fuzi. Waiting for more players to appear on the bomb side. Manan gets his.
What?
Yabi with a response, and Manan, ooh, prime angle, but only finds the one. Nico does with a response. Surprising that Copenhagen Flames managing to find so much success here, and Yabi gets himself one more.
Yabi.
And the last one for Yabi as well. The 4K for Yabman.
Dude, that was weird, because it looked like Fuzi should have hit that shot on short, like right here. So he gets the first, and he re-peeks right after. It was supposed to be another kill for him, but somehow the shot doesn't register. So I guess he got CSGO'd a little bit there, or just was moving a little bit too much at the end of the call, or at the end of the push. In any case, the result is quite apparent, 4-1, and this is how it went down for our first map of Vertigo. Young Ninjas got one round, then they lost one. And they find themselves in the same kind of cycle. The difference, they don't force here. That's what I love from Young Ninjas right now. They have enough money because many players survived in the previous. They do not need to force. They do not need to throw everything out, of course, out here. And that is going to be a little bit of contact in con, looking for some control. Shapek, unfortunately, against Yabi can't really make it happen. And that is going to be, again, most likely a 5-1 start for Copenhagen Flames. And this is an excellent beginning, to be fair, for the Danes, given that they have not officially played this map.
Yeah, like you're right about it. Haven't played the map officially, but still seem to be playing as a very cohesive unit. Definitely the individual stepping up as well. One of the players right now that's been on a stellar tear, Yabi. Already on 9 kills. Of course, in the previous one, he gets himself the 4K, opening up the A bomb site, but this time his services won't be required here to dispatch any of the members of Young Ninjas, though we could see some of the members of Young Ninjas going for the aggressive peaks here, looking for those exit frags, maybe dealing some damage on the Copenhagen Flames economy. But as you're going to notice, Young Ninjas out of this round, smoke deployed, vision obscured, gonna have to look for frags elsewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, Young Ninjas will have to pull out a bit of a Houdini to try and get into a better spot. And they'll just stack up in CT. They'll wait for anybody coming close to them to try and, you know, basically prevent from a T player getting his hands on a few more players, but on a few more kills. Though in this case, the Flames are too smart to give that one up. 5-1. Of course, they're pulling back with all 5 through Monster, making sure that they're in a safe spot enough to not lose their AKs. Did I see correctly? Did they lose one more player here, Young Ninjas, right? To the bomb?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. That's a bit of a, you know, it sucks. It sucks, but it was an eco, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things. Tactical timeout, the first one this time for Young Ninjas. And whilst we have your attention, people, go check out Red Magic's Series 6 phone. It is apparently the world's smoothest phone, whilst also having 165 Hz refresh rate, which, if you play PUBG, Call of Duty, or what else is on mobile phones, like a shooter game, something that would actually be noticeable with a higher refresh rate. Some shooters, I guess, you know, might give it a try. But yeah, thank you, of course, for the sponsorship, Red Magic, for the tournament here, supporting us and, of course, the entire organization here.
There used to be one that I remember by the name of Modern Combat. I think it was called Modern Combat 5, I like to say, on the mobile phone. So that was actually one of the games I do remember on the smartphone. Definitely there are a few actually good games on the smartphone, if I'm being honest, in terms of the first-person shooters as well, which you probably don't really associate the smartphone with. Yeah. We are going to see some... Ooh, control here from Yabi. Sapecto again. The first man of contact here. This is not the first time he's gone for the aggressive plays on the side of Young Ninjas. And, well, Yabi goes down. A very impactful player. Uzi, though, holding the angle with the AWP. Flashbang. Ooh,
Good flash. Really good flash. Yeah, that was a vital one right there. Manan finds himself a piece of the pie. Those iPhone will drop. And, dude, I feel like deja vu. I'm not even joking right now. Because if this goes to the way of Young Ninjas, this is exactly how it went down on Vertigo. Round by round, legitimately, it went down like this. They lost 5-1, and then they got one, so it was 5-2, and then basically Copenhagen Flames closed out the half 12 or 13-2. In any case, nice frag by Nico Dawes. Still makes it a single man difference in favor of Young Ninjas, though makes it a little bit easier perhaps for the side of the Flames at least to get onto site and plant. But I have my doubts about them being successful about it. You know, Nyla's already on short, waiting patiently behind sandbags, and I'm fairly certain they'll be expecting a player in water, a player perhaps in heaven, but not a player on sandbags short.
Oh, Nyla's positioning is just so good right now. Roy will actually find himself the one. Like I said, Nyla's positioning so good. Goes for the spray. That will stop the player trying to get the bomb plant. The Young Ninjas, finally, they take the timeout, they have the discussion, and now they also have the round win. 2-5, the current scoreline. Still, if Young Ninjas want to try and make things competitive, they're going to have to go for potentially more aggressive plays, because that seemed to be the answer in the previous round. We saw Sapek pushing B short. We also saw Manen holding the restrooms. Perhaps that's something the Young Ninjas need, some more aggression here in Overpass.
This might be the case indeed, though a little bit of a slowdown. Young Ninjas, of course, taking their time in the approach of the, well, more specifically, the Flames taking their time in the approach of the round itself. Whilst Young Ninjas, of course, thinking on a few ways to perhaps overtake B short control. One thing I'm definitely surprised about is how little aggression we have seen from YN towards short B, towards connector in general, towards any part of the map that would potentially give them an entry for free. Siphon in Con. And it seems like the Flames will be committing towards toilets, so at least for the moment it looked like it. I mean, I'd be expecting them to go towards toilets, because why else would they have a player on long and two more towards party? But they're really taking their time, aren't they? Like 40 seconds about, give or take, and this Shadow is going to be a dead giveaway. Nikodos is coming. Bit of a pre-fire, bit of a pre-fire. Well, too soon of a pre-fire, excuse me, by Nikodos. Now Fuzi realizes his position and gets the hell out of dodge. Luckily, Nikodos does not peek because of the bomb, but doesn't matter. Fuzi still gets caught by Hooksy. Oi. This is a problem. This is a really big problem. 20 seconds and they're about to pound the doors of A site.
Oh, looking very good. Nikodos opening things up as well. That puts the remaining members of Sapek and Nilo in a position where they must retreat. They can't retake the bomb site at a 2 versus 5, and that will be the round over. And this time, Young Ninjas, we saw not the same aggressive plays, but definitely saw some more forward positions on the side of Young Ninjas. Still, though, we saw that those positions weren't really set up in the way that they could potentially go for refrags. They were basically just solo angles being held. And so, if one of the players ends up going down, for example, Manen, Uzi still far away to try and get a refrag in. He's just not in the best position. Instead, he tries to back away from this one, and the Copenhagen Flames advancement just steamrolls him alongside LNZ. So perhaps if Young Ninjas want to go for the aggressive plays, we have to see some more teamwork out of them.
Yeah, that's one way, I guess, or that's one way to put it. Yeah, team play, definitely, but I feel like they're a little bit afraid. It feels like they're reserved in their aggression because they're fearing of what the Flames will be doing or what they could be doing. It strikes me odd, of course, that Young Ninjas would be this perhaps afraid of taking chances. Though, in their current state, 6-2, I can understand their kind of reservation about it all, right? Because they don't want to risk just getting absolutely blasted out of the sky because of their many attempts sometimes to take control. Fuzi we can see in Con. Yeah, duck walking never will help. Second player there is Manen, but Xiphon is absolutely ready, and that is going to be 7-2. My god, like, history really is repeating itself, isn't it? Like, legit, this is exactly how it went down in Vertigo. It's like round for round, difference is the same. Even the kills, the saves, I think they also saved them Vertigo with 2 rifles, but that didn't really help them too much at the end of the day. And I worry for Young Ninjas because, you know, we talk a lot about mentality. Let's hold on that thought for a second. Sapek, nice hold. He gets one, but it doesn't really help out the case too much, unfortunately. Good nade. Whew, that was really good nade.
You can also see they're very much aware of the boost. Hilo and LNZ just not in the best positions right now. Copenhagen and Flames have once again taken over the bomb site, and Young Ninjas in retreat. I'd say that is to be expected because you're just not expecting too much out of a guy like Nilo, even though he does have that AK-47 in his position. But yeah, things are not looking good here for Young Ninjas. And like you say, reminiscent of what we saw in Vertigo, where, okay, at the very start, we see a few rounds go the way of Young Ninjas, but it's still Copenhagen Flames that have very much the foot on the throttle. As LNZ, though, the bomb site has no defenders, but of course LNZ has no time to get the defuse in. Yeah, that's the one good thing to do, but Nikodaz very aware of that possibility.
Poor guy. Has to deal with everything and then doesn't even get away in AK. Just unlucky. One thing I'd mention is I really want to see pressure from Young Ninjas, because if they don't start pulling some pressure on Copenhagen Flames, so start looking to take control of B short and con, this is going to be a one-sided first half again. Because Copenhagen Flames, the reason why they're getting this much control this easily, this quickly, even in gun rounds, is because they're allowed that control to be taken. They're allowed to take control of Connector. They're allowed to take control of B short. And look at this, alone in con, Fuzi, he has an up, yes, but he's going in absolutely isolated. Where's the flash? Where's the team support? Nikodos finds one more. That's Nilo next to doors. And Sapek, he is alone, sprays into the smoke towards Monster, can't really get anything done. Is Ro really on a Glock right now? Am I seeing this right? Ro has a Glock. They've got 7k in the bank for the most part on him, and he's on a Glock. What? I'm a bit perplexed as to why, but fair enough. Whew, good nades, or excuse me, good shots, not nades. Might as well be nades though, because that's a lot of damage on Nikodos and Ro. Or Roy.
Obviously, with that connector presence, gives Copenhagen Flames a lot more freedom to work with. Zyphon, though, a massive frag go his way, and look at Modin's positioning. Out here in connector, though, ooh, Roy is going to spot him out. I guess it was hearing the footsteps there from, I do believe that was Hooksy in that position. As we can see, Lonesome LNZ remains in the 1 versus 4. Has made his way towards the A bomb site and could get the frag here on Hooksy. But if you're Copenhagen Flames, once you realize LNZ's positioning, you're just going to say, you know what? We do have that MTB bomb site, so that's going to be the safer route to take to secure that victory on round number 10.
Well, things are getting very serious. And, well, very serious is maybe an understatement. Things are really getting out of hand now. There is very little control left to be handed over or to be even taken by the side of Young Ninjas. And this early peek into con, it's a great idea. As I said, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad way to go about doing business, but you do really need to get at least the frag then if you do go for the aggressive stances. But as I said, the good thing is they're showing, they're showing an interest in going a bit more aggressively out of their comfort zone, right? Out of their general style that they were playing up until now. The bad thing is it might be already too late, because right now Copenhagen Flames are hyped up, they're fired up, and the flames are burning ever higher, and you can be guaranteed that they are not going to be letting go of these rounds. More specifically, they're not going to be letting go of these specific moments and specific opportunities. 8-2. This is a goddamn well played out first half, and I couldn't put it any way else besides that, because this is legitimately one of the best first halves we've seen in a long time. I mean, LNZ finally good start. The second scout on Nilo as well. This could bring about a bit of a change, and hopefully it will. But it is a long way to go just yet. Nice tax, Fuzi with the deagle shot. 4 players from Young Ninjas. The aggression this time pays off.
Nice aggression from Young Ninjas, and you can see a lot more players were involved in this push, dealing the damage here, getting the kills, now putting themselves in a very winnable scenario. I like the push there from Yabi as well, even though he's out there alone. He'll soon have the backup here of Roy and Zyphon. But Yabi will have to do most of the heavy lifting. They could very easily still deploy the Molotov here for the barrels position because Sapek could be a really big nuisance here as he swings out with the CZ. Good pickup on 2. Roy, though. Nice one on Nilo. But LNZ holds the angle, and Young Ninjas, there we go. If there was a round they needed to win, I'd say that is one of them. Just the force spike coming in there from the Young Ninjas. You come out here with the pistols, with the scout, and the fact that you can overwhelm your opponents, these are the momentum building rounds.
Absolutely are. These are the rounds that can, of course, give you your lifelines back, your much needed economy, of course, back as well. But let's see, of course, where this one goes. 8-3 is no joking manner still. This is 8 rounds that Flames have been able to take very early on, very quickly on, and I want to see where it's going to lead us to, of course. Nico Doss. Dude, I barely saw the arm of Fuzi. I barely saw his shoulder. What the bloody hell was that? Holy what? That was insane. I hope to see a replay of that because that was out of this world. Unfortunately, Manen misses his chance. He takes up the ob, but can't get the refrag. Hooksy. Oh god, I didn't even notice. I was so perplexed by everything. I didn't even notice Manen's still in toilets. Surely they know about him, right? They know about him. He took a shot and he took a jab at a player. He didn't really succeed. Yeah, nade flies into him. Oh my god, Danny slapped me and called me Sally because what the hell just happened here? Shapek and Nilo left and they already know where Shapek's coming out from. Sure enough, gets one, but that's not clearly enough. Not even close to being enough.
Ooh, with just the 2 players here, it's not looking good though. Nilo coming in from the bank. They do
He
not
just
seem to
makes
be. They don't seem to be aware of his positioning. No, they don't know of his position at all. So Nilo could potentially get a frag here. Oh, but now you can see Hooksy just taking control of the bank position. So that window of opportunity has been shut off. Topik and Nilo, of course, just backing away from this one. Young Ninjas. Not a good start for them early on. We saw Nicodons with an amazing AWP shot to kick things off. And then also the positioning from Hooksy's so superb there on the A-bombs that he makes his way so rapidly there. The players of Young Ninjas just not even aware of his positioning. But the satisfying stuff. Young Ninjas, they win the round with pistols. They win the round with the scout. But they cannot win the round of guns. Topik and Nilo will manage to save their M4s. That's the one saving grace, I would say. As you're noticing, the first half is coming to an end here. Of course, the replay as well.
My god. That was just nasty. I mean, if we can we see it just again in even slower motion because that was just nasty twice over. I have not seen that kind of shot in a long time. It just reminds me of those, you know, those crazy shots you would have from the likes of Simple almost. But in any case, 9-3, and we have ourselves an attempt from Young Ninjas. Fozy at his glass cannon style. Sapek gets tagged as well. Oh boy, what are they doing? What is this? Young Ninjas, guys, I know I said I want to see more aggression, but you gotta play it a little bit more constructive. Like, you gotta work it together, not just go into monster and look for the end. Like, these seem like tilting pushes. This seems like, you know, it's a tilt play by Young Ninjas. Because their style right now tells me that they're literally going in, okay, we are looking for heads, let's go for heads. So we just go shoot, we just go kill, and that's it. This is not good. It's not good at all. I mean, like we said, aggression needs to be shown, aggression needs to be taken. Yes, absolutely needs to. Unfortunately, not always is all aggression great, and definitely not pushing through monster is one of, it's like, what? Oh man. Uzi and LNZ 2v4 gets himself one. Of course, that's Roy that gets caught, but oh, man.
The positioning as well, just
yeah, they're reading them like an open book right now.
not much of a response from Young Ninjas. This round as well, we tried to see some aggression from their part, but it's simply not good enough. Popping in flames, yeah, now I completely understand why you're saying this is reminiscent of Vertigo. As the players of Copping in Flames just mopping the floor with Young Ninjas. Currently, the best possible scoreline would be the 10-5. But as we're going to notice after this round is over, Young Ninjas will have some economical difficulties to face. And even though initially I like the fact that, in Young Ninjas, just like on Inferno as well, when they were in the lead, they took the timeout. Here, when things started going down south, they took the timeout. Probably it's another good opportunity for them to take that timeout because they also lost the big green.
Well, this is... Oh, there we go. Thank you, production. By the way, big shout out. Yeah, that's just for me. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Wojtek. Big Vu, love you, buddy. Amazing job you've been doing, and great support, by the way, by all of Fantasy Expo that have been provided here for us. Great communication. Love it. Shout out to, of course, the production, and in this case, let's hope to see some shout outs from LNZ with the scout, because he needs to shout even higher than you would believe it possible, because right now he does tag Nikodos, so that's the op down to already 29. Though, unfortunately, how far can this one go right now for Copenhagen Flames? Oh boy, I already see this. I see this right now from the side of YN. They might actually be able to take the first kill. Never mind. Fuzi gets himself a little bit too excited. Ouch.
Yeah, Fuzi's going to be the first player to go down here. Zyphon being... Ooh... I wanted to say being very careful in his approach, but then he just jumps his way out of connector. Deals the damage here, Nyla, but of course Nyla is still very much alive. Really liking his position right now. I mean, this is a ballsy maneuver, but with New York just on 6 points of health, I'd say it's a good play to make. Young Ninjas, though, full rotation towards the B bomb site as well. They have all the players here. Now let's see if they can find all the frags.
Oh boy, well, they will try, but they will fail upwards, unfortunately, as Yabi finds two. And that is pretty much the end of the round, the end of the deal here, as 11-3. My God. Danny, we are once again seeing the same result we already saw on Vertigo. The difference is, instead of 13-2, it might be 12-3. Potentially 11-4 if of course the luck will have it for the side of Young Ninjas, that they will find this last one. AWP on Fuzi. We've got, of course, 4 rifles on the rest. We've got a decent amount of utility. Not bad at all. 2 kits. So there is enough utility and, in general, money invested to win a round. Let's see if they can do it, actually.
Oh, Sapek again going for the aggressive plays. But this time it works out. I have to admit, though, Sapek finds some really good timings once he decides to go for these aggressive plays. And look at this as well. Yabi. Gonna keep a close eye on B short. Yastu, I'd even say. Roy Dog, so good to eliminate Manan. Swings out wide. Manan can't even respond. That opens up the restrooms. In fact, that to some extent opens up the A bomb site until Fuzi gets the frag here in Roy. So all that control acquired by Copenhagen Flames is gone in an instant.
And with that being said, of course, Young Ninjas, they're still vouching to get this 4th round at least. It would be a nice little closure for the half, at least getting 4. But, oh my God, Yabi strikes again. There we have it. And voila. The cherry on top will be Nilo getting shot by Yabi here. And the end is nigh, unfortunately. That is going to be 12-3 most likely, unfortunate enough. Fuzi, no kit, and bomb is planted, so, he at least knows... Oh, look at this sneaky Fuzi guy. Tries to actually walk on through the corner here, tries to sneak on past Diaby, but can't do it. 12-3. I have my doubts now, Danny. Not going to lie, I have my doubts for Young Ninjas. No. Oh, God, I just noticed nobody's even above 10 kills. Oof. Oof. That is a big oof from me. Big F in chat as well, because that's a bit devastating.
Yeah, somewhat dissatisfying on the side of Young Ninjas. And as I saw there as well, apparently there seems to be a coach on the side of Young Ninjas. Someone on the side of Ninjas definitely giving these boys some advice. Right now, they definitely need some, because things are looking sour here on this map. Quite reminiscent of what we saw in Vertigo. Not much of a hold there from the CD side. Barely picking up any rounds. And the problem is, just the 3 rounds to work with. It's still such a daunting scoreline to bounce back from. Best possible start for Young Ninjas would be the pistol round victory. Not sure if it's going to go their way. Copenhagen Flames have proven to be a very successful team on the T side, finding a lot of those openings, finding a lot of success. Of course, if you guys want to take control of your economy, be sure to head over to Coinbase, as Coinbase.com, online cryptocurrency wallet. Probably a good place to store your cryptocurrencies. Of course, it's a better to find yourself a place to store your cryptocurrencies. As for Young Ninjas, they're going to have to look for a place to store their shame, because this is really dissatisfying here in Overpass. Young Ninjas just haven't been able to live up, I would say, to the hype as well. Because we were talking about it in the pregame. We were talking about in the pregame how some of the players of Young Ninjas just can demonstrate that individual skill, and we saw snippets of it.
Yep.
Definitely on Inferno. Some really good performance from those players. Nilo, Sapek with the aggression in Banana, Fuzi as well. Right now, here on Overpass, it just hasn't been the same. Not on the same level, if I'm being honest. Though we've seen glimpses of Fuzi, glimpses of Sapek going for those aggressive plays. And right now, it's a do or die situation. The pistol round is a must as Young Ninjas creeping their way forward. But look at Copenhagen Flames. They have just the perfect setup. Young Ninjas, they're going to enter the site, but Copenhagen Flames will be very swift to try and attempt the retake. We'll see, though, Fuzi and Nilo. Perfect way to kick things off.
Well, that was a bit of a understatement as to how unprepared Flames were, but still, in this case, 3v4, it is a chance for Young Ninjas to win their second pistol of the series as a whole. And Manen, I think that he's just done it. Yes, he has Huxi as the last player. And, of course, Manen with a beautiful hat trick. What a nice little finisher here for the side of Young Ninjas. So there we have it. It is going to be the second pistol as well. Interestingly enough, they have far more success in the second half than they ever have in the first one, which is a weird thing, really. It really is. But in any case, we have ourselves perhaps a game on our hands if, of course, Young Ninjas do not falter in this second round. Force by coming out for the Flames, Famas for Yabi, the rest with Deagles, and I'm expecting this to be a very aggressive stance from Flames themselves. I would, usually would expect, oh, beautiful boosting con. Okay, they catch Manen, they tag LNZ, and Nilo goes through the smoke. Oh boy, at least Sapek catches Zyphon. So in that case, a chance that Young Ninjas might be able to propel themselves up to the 5th still. Let's see.
Oh, we're going to have to play this one safe, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Huxi is going to go for a bit of a peek. But we see Young Ninjas just waiting, and right now they're going to realize that they have to commit to this one. Sapek, though, gets the first one on Yabi. Huxi with the response, though.
Oh,
Huxi goes down as well. Huxi some great shots in.
And unfortunately for LNZ, he is at very low HP, and that will be the undoing of his... Oh boy. This is disastrous. This is absolutely disastrous for the side of Young Ninjas. They will force up. They don't even have a choice here. Without a plant, of course, they are left without a choice. And LNZ, you can see the frustration on his face. I mean, we can tell the frustration from their gameplay, from the way they're moving around the map, from the way they're playing. It's just not going anywhere. It's just a disaster is what it is. And unfortunately, it's back to the drawing board. Their 9-game win streak that they've had since last week almost, or last week, will surely come to an end now almost, because it looks like it's nearly there. Copenhagen Flames, 3 rounds, and they will close this series out, secure themselves the spot in the grand finals of course, Blast Rising 2021. In either case, Deck 9 and 4 Deagles. Hope is there, but we all know, Danny, hope dies last.
Hope is also the mother of fools, but for Zyphon, look at the skill. So many good frags. The only player holding that position as well. No need for backup as for Young Ninjas. Oh, just 3 players remaining. This is not a good start of the 3 versus 5, though the late boost perhaps could find them a frag or 2. Now we can see the players of Young Ninjas going for that boost. Oh, look at Yabi. He's just so aware of it as well. Just Gonna fire off a few bullets with the MP9, making sure they stay off his loan. Oh, Roito.
Oh,
That's a
man.
great pickup here in Mod and Fuzi and Sapek. Great to see both of the players sticking together for this one, but it is going to be super difficult. A 2-1-5. They're getting closer and closer. But I'd say instead of closer to picking up the round. Oh, okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Finally, life. Life on the side of course, Young Ninjas. And Hooksy, though, comes out through trash here and quickly takes care of Sapek. 1v2. Unfortunately, Yabi's already on the flank, and the apple juice is just flowing here as Copenhagen Flames find the 14th. And just so you know, we call Yabi apple juice here in Slovenia. It's a nickname. It's a short term, like Jabuchny Sok is the long name, and Yabi is the way we call it when you just say I want some Yabi. So in this case, Yabi, of course. God damn, that was beautiful to watch at the end. 14-4, cutting close. Great moment for Young Ninjas. They really had an opportunity, though unfortunately, still come up short. And you know what's the worst part? They're gonna force again. Deagles, Tech 9s, a little bit of utility. More than you would expect, but still, this is a disaster right now.
Somewhat of a disastrous situation, sure, but look at the push as well. Zyphon getting his, Yabi with the response to LNZ. Love the movement. So quick, but Hooksy has been an amazing player holding the B-bomb site, and that nade as well. Not looking too good here. Fuzi going down as well. 15-4, Young Ninjas. Looks like they finally meet their match here in the form of Copenhagen Flames. 15-4 scoreline is quite daunting here for the Young Ninjas. Now, of course, guys, if you want to get yourself some skins, be sure to head on over to CS.money, as that is, of course, a place where you can trade up your old skins, freshen up your inventory, sell them if you're interested, or perhaps even buy some new skins. All of that and the above over at CS.money.
And, of course, the money for Young Ninjas is in shambles. They can barely afford themselves an AK, a UMP, a Tech 9, and 2 Scouts. It sounds like a bad joke, but unfortunately, that's the economy that it is for Young Ninjas. Good start for Roy. Doesn't end too well when Manin is ready for him, so there's that. 4v4, perhaps a chance that Young Ninjas might find another round in this case, another round in this position. Though, highly unlikely that Copenhagen Flames will go down without a fight, and we can see that utility is still heavily favoring the CTs in this case. The smoke and the Molotovs, or the smokes and the Molotov, is what really makes the difference, I feel like. And so far, good timing on the map. As we can see, there are 2 players on long. There's a chance this could go wildly wrong for the Flames, like I said already before, but that is the flash timing we're looking for already all time before for the side of Young Ninjas in Inferno. Unfortunately, Zyphon finds one, Nikodos the second, and Danny, we know where this one is headed. Yes, we do. 16-4. Final score. Unfortunately for Young Ninjas, they failed to achieve more than 4 rounds, just like on Vertigo, and again will be defeated and eliminated from Blast Rising. Well, technically not eliminated, because they're still playing for the 3rd spot, but they ain't getting onto, of course, the Grand Finals.
Oh, really dissatisfying end here for Young Ninjas. They made that second map close for sure. They even secured the victory on the second map, but the first and third one in fours. That is a really dissatisfying scoreline. And just the one thing you don't expect here from a team like Young Ninjas. In the pregame, we were talking about how this roster is finally able to step up here in this tournament. They've done some amazing stuff, beating some of the better teams here as well. And as we saw right now, that still wasn't enough. The experience they garnered through Blast Rising, still not enough for them to secure the victory against Copenhagen Flames, who, fair enough, came out to play.
They really did, and of course they came out on top as well. 2 maps won for them, lost 1, and both maps that they did win 16-4. The round difference is astonishing. It really puts into perspective how good of a team this could be. This could be the next Danish superhouse, talent, how to say, power cell. In this case, it really could go very far. Unfortunately for Young Ninjas, that is it for their grand final stint, so they ain't going further than the 3rd place at Blast Rising. But then again, that is still a meaningful and a well finished off result and ending of the tournament. Tomorrow, of course, will be played out the third place match, and we'll see who they'll go up against, be it Double Pony or Norderwind. Excuse me, what am I talking about? Double Pony and Spirit Academy. And with that being said, of course, we will have DJL coming out for the interview. And Danny, I mean, already Roy gave us a good, good kind of impression as to what to expect out of the team. And I think DJL as the coach here will give us an even better overall picture of what is to be expected from, of course, the Flames.
Yeah, on the side of Copenhagen Flames, it's great to see that we're also going to have a chance to talk with the coach, who is, of course, also the former member of the Assyrian lineup. He was also still very much coaching that roster. So it's going to be interesting also to hear some of his perspectives about what does he think about this team compared to, for example, the previous team that was built there by Copenhagen Flames. So absolutely, it's great to see that we're going to have the coach on board.
And I mean, as I was saying all this time along, it's not only that he's a coach. He used to be a player, and he used to be a pretty damn good player himself. Might not have achieved too much greatness, but he had been throughout many a team in the past. Red Reserve comes to mind as the first one. Then Chaos, I think he had the longest stint there in Chaos for about a year almost. And Yapaleno, for example, I remember at the first time I heard of Yapaleno, I was like, is this a troll team? And then I realized, oh no, this is basically a team that the Swedish players are always coming back to whenever they're playing, without an organization or something, and they're always playing in Yapaleno of all the teams. And I love the name, I love the situation. But DJL, of course, the coach here of Copenhagen Flames, the former player himself, Daniel Narancic, will be joining us in a moment's notice. And damn, I mean, my only real question will be, how the hell are you guys feeling? Because that was bloody amazing.
It was definitely surprising to note how one-sided the two maps were. I was definitely expecting it to be close.
Yeah.
We saw that on Inferno. That was the closest matchup we saw. Great stuff there from the young ninjas, that they were able to step up when it matters most. Some really good plays coming in as well. And of course, looks like we do have DGL joining us for the interviews. Of course, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from you, DGL, and of course, congratulations there with the victory. And as Overseer wants to ask you, well, I'll do the talking. And so how are you guys feeling after that victory?
It feels good. I mean, we haven't really been practicing too much with this lineup, and it just feels great that even though we didn't play too much with each other in practice-wise, it's actually clicking with the roles really good. I do think, for example, a guy like Yabi, he's literally having all different positions, and he's just playing like a madman.
Oh man, he is playing like a madman, dude. The game we saw today was, I think, a good expert of what we can expect in the future, right? From you guys, from the Flames themselves, from the boys themselves. The aggression, it seemed at times it wasn't really planned out, and obviously there were a few mistakes here and there. But every single time I see you play, every time, like the last time, for example, we talked with Roy between you, of course, the Flames and Tricked, and he said that obviously since the roster is still fresh, as you also mentioned, there's a lot of work to be done. And my question is, as you said, you're not cracking as much, but doesn't seem to affect the overall quality. If anything, it's just getting better and better. The more you play, just better it's getting, even if perhaps not as pracked.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there will be some mistakes, definitely, when we are a new group and stuff like that. But it's we're talking so much in general, just for example, after that Inferno loss, we're basically just talking through okay, what do we need to step up with just to win this overpass? And I mean, we just had some really bad trades in general, and the spacing was not there, and we just basically talked it through. And I mean, we just had a way better game plan in general for the overpass, as you could see.
I definitely like to ask on Inferno as well. Would you guys say that you just had an off run on Inferno, or was it perhaps just young ninjas playing some really good Counter-Strike?
Yeah, I mean, I do think they were playing really good. I mean, I'm a Swede myself, and I'm happy that the Swedish scene are getting some new young talented players. Yes, but I mean, they played really good, but we just didn't really. We were not ready for the aggressions, I guess, and I guess that was something we were ready with on overpass.
Yeah, I could tell on Overpass it was a completely different flames, I guess we got to see, because there were, as I said to Danny, right, what are we going to expect on Overpass? And I said that most likely we'll get to see the correction of the mistakes we saw in Inferno. And honestly, on Overpass, there were very few mistakes in general, maybe here and there, a little bit here and there, of course, but in general, you guys were playing fantastically well. And as you said, you talked throughout the entirety of the 10 minutes of the break for what happened after Inferno. And I got to give it to you, man. You're doing a great job, because clearly the entire team is feeling the how to say, the energy, right? Everybody's just working off of each other very well. And again, as you already mentioned, Yabi, I think he is also doing, you know, he was the best performer, was he, here on Overpass? I believe he had the top frag, or it was the top fragger, if I'm not mistaken. But in general, actually no, that was Ifon. I apologize, that was Ifon, but no, actually it was Yabi, my bad. Yes, it was Yabi. In overall it was Ifon, but in general, like, it does feel like this is the squad that could be the next. I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm not gonna go to the stars, but I think this could be a squad that could contend, in my mind, for the tier 1 scene.
I mean, as I said, and as I said yesterday as well, like, I don't want to jinx anything or stuff like that, but like, we're having a great time with each other in this group, and everyone feel really comfortable of saying like what they think is nice or what not, and Hooks is really open-minded. So for now, it's super nice.
That's really good to hear, and I won't keep you lingering for too long. I mean, myself and Danny, I think we were both surprised with the ending of both Vertigo and Overpass, and I was just so perplexed with the final, with the first half of Overpass, with the final map. Was like, okay, you guys get 3 rounds. So you open up with the pistol, you get the 3 rounds, it's the first gun round, and every single time Young Ninjas get the round. So every single time in all 3 maps, it was 3-0 for you guys, and then Young Ninjas respond and get 1 back. Now, unfortunately, on Inferno, we saw what happened. It was a tie, and then back and forth 5-5. But here, like Vertigo and Overpass, it went from 3-1 to 5-1, and then to 5-2, and then it just kept on going.
Yeah, I like it that way.
Hey, that's the way to go.
Okay, yeah, that is super good.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for all the answers, and of course, congratulations for the victory, DJL. And I hope that we'll talk to you again, and more precisely tomorrow, of course, and after the grand finals. But until then, I bid you and of course your squad and your boys good luck. And I think when I speak here, I can say for Danny as well that today was a beautiful day, a great day, and I hope we can expect tomorrow the same.
Thank you so much, and yeah, hopefully we talk after a victory tomorrow.
Exactly.
It'll be a hard game. Okay, thank you so much. I have to go because I have a game now. So
no problem. Good luck.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Right, so that was, of course, DGL giving us some info on his team as well. And you can see that it wasn't that they were completely underestimating the opposition there of Young Ninjas. I mean, they realized as well that this is a talented roster. It's not going to be easy to win against them. But as we saw at the very end, the guys from Copenhagen Flames, they realized, okay, we messed up here on the second map. So let's just continue playing our game of Vertigo. Let's just keep on giving information. Let's just keep on communicating. Let's not turtle in. And instead, let's focus on the game. And as we saw right there, absolutely stellar performance in Overpass.
It really was. And of course, with that being said, we will finish today's broadcast. As I said, tomorrow, a second semifinals will be played at 1 o'clock Central European time. So make sure to be here on Blast TV, of course, at Blast Rising 2021. Myself and Danny will be coming over to, of course, cover the whole day. So semifinals at 1, third place match at 5, and then at 8 o'clock in the evening, we'll have the grand finals being played out. Already Copenhagen Flames waiting for their opponent. Of course, Double Pony versus Spirit Academy will be playing tomorrow. But until then, I bid you all farewell and adieu. And until the next time, have a good one. See you on Sunday.
dying tree, fantasy. Come talk to me. How did you get this way? I never thought I'd see the day. I tried so hard to bring you back. You're not Jesus Christ. You're not Jesus Christ. You're not Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. This isn't what we wanted. We never thought that it would come to this. And I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. You never really knew me. Stop pretending that you wanted to. Well, I'm just a man, flesh and blood. All I need is real love. Your ticket price is too damn high. I don't play with guns, 'cause bullet holes still remain. That don't mean I've changed. Bullet holes still remain. That don't mean I've changed. That don't mean I've changed. That don't mean I've changed. I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. This isn't what we wanted. We never thought that it would come to this. And I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. You never really knew me. Stop pretending that you wanted to. You got your gold streets ahead of you. You got your gold streets ahead of you, but you can't keep my name furthest from your mouth. You got your gold streets ahead of you. You got your gold streets ahead of you. You got your gold streets ahead of you. I can't imagine what a way you made me. I'll be just fine. I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. You never knew what love was. You lived your life with mouths of bitterness. And I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. I used to think that you were right in this, but maybe you were wrong. I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. This isn't what we wanted. We never thought that it would come to this. And I'm just gonna say it, I'll say it. Oh, you never really knew me. Stop pretending that you wanted to. Above the water, hovering south, cause a stream on the beach, wife and daughter, wave we love you, hope he sees. Mine is big,
eyesight checked. But I can listen while I'm wishing, staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
Getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bound to hit our groove.
I'm closing chapters, looking backwards, and I'm making sense. I'm interested in all that flourishes from ignorance. Nothing in my way now except for my own years. The world is spinning and I'm dizzy, staring at the stars. They don't seem so far. They don't seem so far.
Getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bound to hit our groove. I'm getting older and we feel a little colder. The world is trying to get us to trip, fall, roll over. But there is more to prove. These mountains, they can move. Sit tight, buckle up, we bound to hit our groove. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of gold, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing on these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of gold, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing on these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars. They don't seem so. It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of gold, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing on these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars.
They don't seem so
It's hard to know what is real, gotta follow what you feel. Running out of gold, but have a pocket full of zeal. We keep the motor humming, doesn't matter what you steal. Just a couple music chefs trying to cook our next meal. Playing on these bars, little stranger than Mars, and accumulating scars, driving hours in the car. The future is ours, I can tell by the stars.
They don't seem so
When I saw you downtown, I started acting like a clown, just to see if you would notice me and maybe get you to laugh. I did get some attention from the girl right next to you. Then all my friends saw me, pleading for my life.